Nothing here is black and white. Nothing here is black and
How's everybody? Having a good evening, good day. Thanks for joining me on YouTube over here. See how we get on. But yeah, let's see if we can get the similar numbers over here. That'll be cool. That'll be good. But yeah, so I appreciate you bearing with me. I'll just turn that down. But yeah, how's everybody doing? Everybody's week off to a good start. And yeah, thank you for checking it out over here on YouTube. It's been a long time since I tested it over here, but just decided to give it a try over here, as opposed to Facebook. I know many of you here used to being on Facebook, so appreciate you bearing with me whilst we see how it goes over here. If you're wondering why we kind of decided to change or move over, it's really a couple of reasons. Was the main reason why I was on Facebook to begin with was the fact that I was under the impression that people were being notified when I was going live, and asking people in chat, and they were like, no, I'm not receiving any notifications of that. I just tune in every couple of weeks anyway, or I get your email and that's got a link in it and that sort of thing as well. Okay, so that was like the core reason, was the fact that I thought like most of the community, like you guys, were on the Facebook page, follow me on there, and it was going to be notifying you, and it just wasn't doing that, right? And so like no point. Secondly, and that was really like the straw that broke the camel's back, was that the comments from you guys were being like heavily censored from Facebook for whatever reason. And you guys were not saying anything like untoward or anything like that. I think we were having a discussion about Meta at one point, and people going, look, my comments are disappearing, and they were disappearing server side, so I wasn't even seeing them. So you guys were typing stuff in chat, and like I wasn't even seeing them. So it's like not like they were being banned on my end, like it were being banned server side, literally before they even got viewed. And look, I mean, I know, controversy is the C word these days, but like I don't think we were discussing anything crazy, right? So it was just kind of frustrating to see like basic stuff being deleted and censored by Meta for like no real reason as far as I could tell, right? But yeah, so the only downside is trying to get people over here who follow me on there. But we'll give it a few streams, see how it goes. We got a decent bunch of you in here already, so we're already off to a good start. So this is already better than I thought it was going to go. In all honesty, I thought it was just going to be like me, maybe my dog watching, like that was it. But so we've already got a bunch of you in here, which is awesome. Yeah. So Kat, how you doing? Of course, some of you are going to have changed your names on different platforms, right? I think there's Steve who is a different Steve somewhere else and that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna have to get used to different names again. But yeah, hey Kat, how you doing? Anders, how you doing, mate? Annie, thanks for joining us over here. Sam, how you doing? Fine, Jake has moved to YouTube. I can finally delete my Facebook now. nice. Yeah, do it. Sam, yeah, it does feel like a relic. I know, but like and as much as it annoys me, like it's one of the only places that I can kind of get a half decent discussion going with you guys, right? Unless I like build my own platform, which I have no desire to do. But like maybe I'll do something on, I'll do a post on Friday, have a little bit of a rant about something, put like a topic out there, and you guys come back with your opinions and and we have a discussion in the comments. Like that just doesn't really happen. Like, that certainly doesn't happen in Instagram. It is one of those things which is kind of like a necessary evil, right? It's one of those places where it is sort of one of the only places that does that. Plus sharing images, you just pop an image in the comments and that sort of stuff. It is super convenient for that. But Sam, you are 100% right in that it is a relic. Like when you hear other people talking about Facebook, you're like, oh my god, like you're still using that? And it's like, Jake, you realize that that's your main platform. But yeah, I agree. Yeah. Thank you, Kat. Yeah, exactly. Needed to like the post, exactly. Yeah. Vlad, how you doing, mate? Vlad, thanks for tuning in. I actually got something I wanted to tell you. I wanted to tell you on stream if you were here, but gotta say, man, got a little bit of a review coming up for your Lightroom presets, your grain presets. Very impressed, man. Very impressed. Yeah, I've been having a little bit of a dig around with those. So I'll share my thoughts on that in a minute. Do remind me. Is that what so you were watching, Vlad, and then you just have to hit refresh when it's actually live? Yeah, I haven't managed to schedule anything yet, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Thank you, Kat. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Oh, it is Miriam. Oh, Miriam. Okay, right. See, this is what I mean. So now I've got to switch another platform. It happens on Instagram as well. People are like, oh, Jay, how's it going? I'm like, do I know you? And it would be like somebody that I've been speaking to for years on Facebook with a different name. So cool. Thank you, Miriam. Okay, cool. I will definitely, obviously, only call you Kat from now on. I think it's here is you can't share photos with it. Exactly, yeah, that is a pain, right? So that is a major issue. So we're going to have to kind of switch back to look at that. So we'll still be sharing images on there, but we'll see. Yeah. Jake, can you please take a moment before the next stream and update the setting from 720? We are not in the Stone Age. Yeah, okay, definitely, Vlad. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't even know. Okay, I'll have to Google that, mate. Yeah, I'll have to Google that. I don't even know. Yeah, do you reckon that's an output thing from OBS, or would it be something in YouTube? It's in the YouTube itself. But it's a good shout though. Appreciate that. Yeah. Wow, Sam's coming out with the zingers, man. Makes sense. You're still on Facebook. You still shoot with a DSLR. Hey, this gets you just right there. This gets you right there. So Vlad says, "Oh, some news. I also have news. I have 2 more presets in the works. Nice, cool. Okay, yeah. Here the video code looks better. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't even know. Yeah, I wouldn't even know like stream settings. Like, yeah, I'll have to Google that. Yeah. So, yeah, no clue, guys. Yeah, no clue. But appreciate the feedback on that, Vlad. Yeah, and I will look into that, because if I can do it in a higher resolution, then maybe 720, something like that. That'll be good. Then we'll do that. So if by some miracle you're just cruising YouTube and you stumbled across this live stream and you're wondering what the hell's going on, so every couple of weeks do a live stream where usually just have a chat about something for an hour, and then like a topic, not just like the weather, as much as I'd love to. So yeah, chat about photography related topic. This week we're going to be talking about art lenses, right? So we've got dug out all my babies here. Okay, way more art lenses than real lenses. But yeah, so we're going to be chatting about art lenses. Which ones are any good? Should you get them? Why would you need them? You guys in chat, do you use any art lenses? And when I say art lenses, like we're talking Lens Baby, we're talking like maybe Helios, right? Maybe an old Petzval, and something like a vintage lens, something like that. Art lenses is not the typical razor sharp edge to edge. So usually that means manual focus and stuff, right? So if you're using any of those lenses, then let me know. Be interested to see what you guys are using. But yeah, we're going to go through some of those, have a chat about my thoughts on that, why I think they're really important in my work and a lot of work going forward as well. And then what we'll do is we'll have a look at some of your images. Okay, so before we get started on that, I just wanted to mention, right, that just have a look. So because of the, so this is the image that I posted last night, right, for the for you guys, like the share a shoot image, right, and in here I asked you guys to post your comments. Now I tried to beat the algorithm as best as I could with regards to not using the L word. I link, so as soon as you use link or anything like that, or go to this and that sort of thing, it triggers the Facebook algorithm to suppress the reach heavily, right? Now I couldn't get around it, but I had to tell you guys that I was going to be on YouTube. That as a result of that, like this image like went nowhere, right? Like the reach of it was just went nowhere. I mean, this is like one of the best images I've ever taken, and it's just like nobody saw it, right? So I don't think it's the image that was like, it's pretty average, Jake, no need to share that. I think it was the content of me telling people to go to YouTube and that sort of stuff, hang on for that and that sort of thing. So sadly, we don't have a huge amount of images to go through today. So if you are in chat here tonight and you wanted to share an image, I would absolutely love to see it. Okay, so I will just go to that link there and post a shot right in the comments of there, and we will have a look. But as it stands at the moment, it's going to be a short stream. We got a handful of images in there, and that's not your guys' fault. It is the system, unfortunately. But something that we're going to have to work around. Hopefully in the future, if I make no mention of what I'm going to be doing and that sort of stuff, talk about live stream generally, it shouldn't get suppressed, and you guys will see this image as a reminder to share your shots. But this is what we do every couple of weeks, right? Also, just have a little bit of chat about any new gear that's been released and that sort of thing. So we'll take it from there. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's in OBS settings. Oh, nice one, Vlad. Okay, cool. I'll have a look at that. Yeah, but don't touch OBS where you like. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't get me started on the weather, cat. I'll do it. So Vlad asks, is this image here Lens Baby? So yeah, great question to get started off there. Then Vlad. Yeah. So it's, talking about lenses. We'll do the news first, actually. But yeah, this is a Lens Baby shop. So this is the Lens Baby Edge. So we can talk about that. Talk about that in a minute. But yes, Lens Baby Edge. So this, I'm just checking. I'm pretty sure that is the edge. Maybe it's. Oh yeah, yeah. It was just zoomed out, so I couldn't see it. So yeah, it was the lens baby edge, and that's what creates that bokeh, that slice of focus. It's the same for it's the same for this image, right, on Friday. And I kind of spoke about this as well. It's just, one of my favorite images that I've taken in a very, very long time. And huge thanks to everybody that commented with supporting words. I do genuinely appreciate it. We're all human at the end of the day. So encouragement is always appreciated. Don't think that I take it for granted. So thank you for that. But yeah, love this image. And again, kind of doesn't really scream art lens, but this is taken with the lens baby edge, right? And just incredibly sharp lenses. This is not, we'll get into that in a second, but don't think, crappy art lenses, vintage, they're probably a bit blurry and that sort of thing. These things are razor sharp. Okay, so we'll get into that in a second. Share your image in there. Let's have a look at before we get stuck into that, let's have a quick look at the news, right? Absolutely hardly anything to talk about, so this will be a quick section, right? I had a look through about products released in the last couple of weeks since the last live stream. Hardly anything at all, right? Hardly anything at all. So this will be a quick section. One thing that did kind of catch my eye though, because in the previous stream I was kind of saying to you guys, it's like, don't you find it fascinating that nobody's bringing out any flashes, right? Which they aren't. Nobody's really bringing out any flash gear, and they haven't done in a very long time, right? It's usually just all LEDs. Godox are really doubling down on the amount of LEDs they're bringing out. They've brought out they're bringing out this whole new range of LEDs with their G mount, so they're even coming away from S-Fit, which is what they've historically been doing. They're bringing out their own LEDs with their own G mount, so they're really doubling down on that, and they're bringing out some absolute beasts in terms of 2,400 watts and stuff like that. These things are not mucking around. This is not playing around. So a lot of companies are really doubling down on the LEDs, and as a result of that, nobody's bringing out any flash. But Elinchrom did bring this out the other week, which I thought was kind of weird. But I'm guessing they are piggybacking on what Profoto brought out. What is it, the A10 or whatever it is, whatever it was, like the little Coke can sized flash, maybe a little bit bigger, and then Godox quickly followed suit, which is what the 8300 or whatever it was. You'd have to double check, but these kind of fit in your bag flashes, strobes, which great for for a wedding and that sort of thing. Absolutely, got a couple of these in your bag, makes total sense, right? But this is surprising to me. This is kind of don't get me wrong, settings the stats are good, 1.5 kilos, sure, okay, cool, yeah, not too bad. Over 500 full power flashes, now that's outstanding, right? That's a whole shoot for sure. Full power as well, so as soon as you come down to half power, i.e., so if you just take one stop off, you're getting 1,000 flashes out of this thing. So that's a lot. I think I'd say that's impressive. So yeah, so that's good. Where's the power of this little fellow? Well, I see it was so 260 watts. So again, pretty good. A lot of you guys are using the 80-200s and stuff, right? So this is going to give you a little bit extra. What this is another quarter of a stop or something than the 8200s. Okay, cool. I cannot see that you can attach modifiers to this though, right? It's all encased in that, so you can't use modifiers. You just use it with an umbrella. That's it, right? So I'm looking on here, with the dome off, I can't see any lighting modifier attachment points. So, that's that's a big. I mean, please somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I like they don't talk about it, but it certainly cannot see anywhere that you would put a light, right? Modifier, and then coming in at £1,000, $1,000 for one. Like, that's a lot for that little head. That's like, I mean, look at it. It looks fancy. It looks great. You know, it looks nice and clean. You know, it's got all the right things that you'd expect. But you know, I can't help but feel this is just a little bit too little, too late. Like, there is no way you are attaching a modifier to that, right? So kind of disappointing from Elenchrom, if I'm honest. Yeah. You go, oh, well, Jake, maybe that, you know, like that's the market they're going for. Okay, what's this then? So you can get what, a bracket or something that you can attach. Okay, so you can get a bracket on there. Okay, so that's better. So you can get this Profoto bracket or something, or this cowl that you just sucker things on. Okay, that's better. That's better. Good. Thank God for that. I was gonna say, oh, you can get a little. Okay. So the modifiers themselves just clamp over the actual top of it. So does anybody shoot Elenchrom here? It's a match for the Profoto mount. Harold, thank you so much. Okay, because that's exactly what it looks like. Yeah, that's exactly what that looks like. So you just put on the Profoto things on there, because I don't shoot Elenchrom, and as far as I'm aware, they don't have that as a mounting point. Interesting. Okay, so if you've got Profoto gear, then that'll just slip over that. Okay, I mean, don't get me wrong, now that I've seen that does look cool. If you've got that gear, then that's great. But they're not cheap, those Profoto mounts and that sort of thing. You know, this is one of the reasons why Godox and SFit is so popular, is because there's so many like third party super cheap modifiers that you can get for your, you know, Godox lights. Because there's just like so many SFit modifiers that are dirt cheap, so you can get tons of modifiers. So yeah, I'm a little bit out of the loop on how much a Profoto modifier costs, but unless this is bespoke ones, because it is Elenchrom on it, I would need to look into that more. But anyway, a lot of money for one head, but at least there's some flashes still being released. And this is a DSLR shooter saying this, you know. USB-C, oh, what, on the back of it? Is that how you charge it, I guess, right? I guess so. Yeah, it looks like it in there, right? USB-C in there, so you charge it in there. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. I'm really scratching at straws here for the news this week, but people just talking about how OpenAI has announced that it can detect AI images 99% of the time. Kind of a bit sus on that. I would definitely need to see that for myself. And my concern with that is, okay, maybe it works today, but tomorrow AI images has advanced so much that like it's kind of out of date already. Then unless they're convinced that there is some signifier that means that they can spot AI images. I don't know. I don't know if you guys remember or not, originally when all this started to kick off with AI imagery, it was, at the time, it was AI like Midjourney or whoever it was. They used Stable Diffusion and that sort of stuff. What they were doing is the images that were being produced by these platforms that were being spat out, they would have this kind of thumbprint in it that meant that when it was searching, when it was digging through or scraping the images, it doesn't use other AI images as its base reference, right? Because otherwise you just have this kind of feedback loop of, you know, baby peacock situation where, you know, you go, you know, create me a picture of baby peacock, it goes away and looks at an AI image, distorted image of a baby peacock and goes, okay, this is what you mean by baby peacock, cool, here you go. And then you have this kind of feedback loop of it, kind of degrading what the actual idea behind it is. So to combat this, original AI softwares and images, what they would have is this thumbprint that would say, yeah, hey, we're an AI image, don't use us as a reference point. So whether they're saying they've tapped into that consistently, who knows? But again, I would say no chance of that being relevant really, and certainly kept up to date. The other issue as well is it's like the damage has been done, right? You got, there's pictures out there, AI pictures out there of, Ed Sheeran being like arrested and dragged down the street. Like, you can't unsee that. This is kind of the scary thing, right? AI image or not, obviously it was AI, but like, you can't unsee it, right? So you're already tainting your subconscious image of that person or product or anything like that. So whether you detect it or not, the damage has been done, right? So I'm not holding up much hope for that. I agree with the nature of the adversarial networks and how they won't last. Agreed. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be instantly out of date. Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, I spoke about this little fella here, right? And what this is, if you don't know, is a film cartridge with I don't know whether it's a CCD or whatever it is, but yeah, it's basically a sensor. So you can use this in your old cameras, right? I got a bunch of old cameras back there. I got an old Olympus OM1, and this is a film camera, 35mm film camera, right? And unless you're going to be spending money on film, not a lot you can do. So what these guys were doing was they had this film camera, and many companies have tried to do this in the past. What they've done is you slot the film in your film camera, and then this little thing goes over the hole where the light is caught. Stop me if I'm getting too technical, right? And then it takes the image. So it was cool, but like one of the huge downside was the fact that this is full frame 35mm. This is actually the area that this was capturing, right? So we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, and it's like, oh, it's cool, it's fun, but not really that great. Anyway, the Kickstarter is still going. They got £274,000, okay, of their 22 grand. So they've 10x'd what they needed for this to go ahead, and they've still got over a month to go. So I was really surprised. Because the biggest downside for me was the fact that it wasn't full frame. It's cool, but it's not full frame. Kind of a bit of a letdown. So they kind of spoke about it here a little bit. Small grey, it's back. Micro Four Thirds sensor combined with our wide angle aperture eliminates crop factor and results in full frame pictures. So I would need to see how that's working, but what they're saying here, why can't we use full frame sensors? So they were right up front here. The cost applied to small enterprises is still too high. So if this is the case, then maybe, if they got enough dollary dues up here, maybe this opens it up for them. So they were saying, look, I mean, if it's true what they're saying is that the only reason they can't do that is just cost, right? It's just not viable to make a full frame one. If it is just cost, then maybe they could see that being resolved. Yeah. Interesting. So something to keep an eye on. See if it grows. There you go. It shows the full frame and how it actually looks and that sort of stuff. But so I would need to see this. They're talking about how it's not cropping. Interesting. So lens 50mm without, not putting wide angle. Oh, I see. So they're saying is what you use this adapter. That's okay. You use this adapter which makes your lens on your camera wider, right? So without that adapter, this is the image that your camera would capture, right? This is what the film sensor is capturing, but if you use the thing on the front of the camera, you can kind of cheat it. Not quite the same thing, but yeah, I appreciate that they're trying to give people workarounds. Yeah. So Vlad, yeah, I mean, Vlad's saying I still want it to be medium format, not Micro Four Thirds. I mean, that would be the dream, buddy. Yeah, that would be the dream. Whether we see that in our lifetime, I would hope so. But again, that would be a very completely different chipset, I'm sure, right? I mean, all the medium format cameras, kind of different. Well, maybe not, right? A lot of the medium format cameras have a spool here and a spool here, and you just wind it from one to the other. So maybe there's more consistency than we think. Yeah, maybe they could do it. Yeah. But yeah, that'd be the dream. Yeah, that'd be the dream. But if this is the start, maybe they will move on. Exactly, man. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I mean, if they're saying that you can't do it because of budget, and then boom, why? Here's 10 times the money that you asked for. Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. See what they say. But the add a wide angle lens on top of an old lens is not appealing. I couldn't agree more with you, Vlad. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's not something that I would kind of do. If I was to kind of get it, I wouldn't like. I would just probably just enlarge the file afterwards if that's what I wanted to do. Right? I would still maintain the quality of the original lens. These things are terrible, by the way. I used these when I was a kid. Poor student. These things are horrendous. So yeah, I would certainly wouldn't advise using those. It's just nasty distortions that just not worth it. So yeah, I would, if it was me, I would just zoom in afterwards in post, regardless of the quality. But yeah, interested. I will try and keep my eye open for that. So I don't know what you like. I didn't even know how much it was. I didn't even know what this CHF is. I presume it's 630 chuffs. gets you on board with it. Oh, he even comes with the adapter. Okay, adapter thing. Right. Nice. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So that's enough of that. But yeah, something to keep an eye on. Yeah. But honestly, like apart from like a couple of just boring lenses that got released, Nikon released another, lightweight telephoto, Canon releasing a 10 to 12 mil f4, like nothing particularly exciting, right? So yeah, slow week for kit. But talking about kit and that sort of thing, one thing that I did have a chance to play with, those of you know, working with Rotelight, did launch event for their Nova Pro 3 LED light. Amazing light, phenomenal piece of kit. And they did a press event launch thing in London last week, a couple of weeks ago, and there they were like, check out this Smoke Ninja thing, and I was like, what's that like? Is it just a vape machine or what is it? But it's like a tiny sort of smoke machine in your pocket. So they sent me like a demo version to have a little play with, and it's actually really impressive. Actually, I mean, I used it on the day we were in this gorgeous studio up there in London, Big Sky Studios there in Holborn, and they're like under the railway arches, a massive space, and using this little guy to add haze into the shot, right? It's actually really impressed. Because it's like there's no heat up time. So normally with a smoke machine, firstly, my haze machine is about the size of a small generator, right? So I mean, I suppose it's a slight exaggeration, but it's definitely a very large shoebox, and so you got to carry that, and then you got to plug it into the mains. You got to if it's extension cables and that sort of stuff. Then you obviously got all the liquid and that sort of thing, and then you got to wait for it to heat up. Right, so you got to turn it on, and then you can't start using it straight away. You got to wait for everything to heat up before it can start producing smoke. But this little thing, you can just have this in your pocket, and yeah. So you get this box of goodies in there. You got your cables, and you got some tubes for dry ice and that sort of thing. I'll show you in a minute. You got your juice. And it actually comes with a remote as well, which I thought was kind of cool. So you could just pop this like behind the model or something like that, just stand it up, and then you could just fire it with the remote. So it's actually pretty cool. But yeah, you just click the power button 3 times, on we go, and then we got fog, right? But that's instant, right? You just saw me turn that on, instant. That's pretty nuts. It took what, like 1 or 2 seconds, and it was already giving smoke. Pretty crazy. So yeah, so obviously that's the fog, but you know, same with my haze machine. What you do is, you know, you just use that fog, just break it up, and then that's how you're creating the haze. So that was really good. Now, you know, there's other things here as well. They're dry ice. Got a dry ice thing here. Now, this is not like, I don't do food or anything like that, but like essentially you have this, you know, great for Halloween and stuff, right? So you basically create this dry ice that sits on something. So if you're doing like food, or I don't know, we're talking about doing talking about using it on a perfume bottle or something like that earlier on. So you could certainly see how that would be great. And like, again, like to have that feature is certainly useful. And then you've got steam as well. So again, if you're doing food and that sort of thing, you just have. Can you even see that? Yeah, you can, yeah. So it's just more of a subtle. There you go. So it's just more of a subtle thing, but I was really impressed. I was actually really impressed. Yeah, like the fog was like, you know, like to have this straight away. I mean, Halloween's coming up, guys. Come on, to have it straight away, and you know, just in your pocket, good to go. Pretty damn impressed. I mean, you just charge it up, USB-C, that sort of thing. But yeah, keep an eye on that. They've just kind of put it together and sort of like released it now. So let me just pop that in there. Now, what's the deal with Rokelite? Jake, why are you mentioning it? Why did Rokelite have it? As far as I'm aware, I think Rokelite are distributing it here in the UK. So if there's anybody following me watching this in the UK, then that's kind of where they're gonna send it from. So because it's under the Rokelite, you can use my discount code Jake10 if you wanted to get 10%. Like, just to be clear, I don't get any kickbacks on that. It's just like a Rokelite code that I have that counts on everything on there. So Jake10 will get you 10% off on that. But again, yeah, there's no kickbacks to me or anything like that. Use it if you want, or don't. But yeah, something to watch with that. Kind of cool. It's got other bits in there as well, so you can mount it to. It's got like tripod plates and stuff there, so you can put it on a light stand if you want to get up high, or mount it in something like that. You could use that as well. The juice, like this little bottle here, the juice, it says has got 200 minutes of total spray time measured at standard mode max power. So that bottle there, if you were to hold that down at max power for 200 minutes, don't know, man. That's pretty crazy. So yeah, like in there is where you fill it up, just in a little house. So you can just fill it up with all the liquid that you need at the time, and then off you go. But clever little piece of kit. Yeah. I should have an image. I should turn that off. I should have an image actually. Let me see if I can find it. I should have an image where. Let's have a look. Yeah. So at the event, I had some shots where there was some images taken before and after I was using it. I was kind of interested to see that. There's the video. Honestly, like don't be like me. Be better at organization. So these are shots we took at the event the other week. Beautiful shots. It turned out really well. Jordan, obviously, incredible model. Never fails. Lighting was pretty good as well. But yeah, so we got some really cool shots. So this is kind of before they got the steam. It's like, Jake, check out the fog and that sort of stuff. And this is you can kind of see it here. So you see how, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Maybe you guys can't see it, but you can definitely see here where it's just adding that extra layer of atmosphere. So this is on the fog mode. then you just break it up, and then it just turns into this haze, and it just gives you like just a very subtle haze effect, which is what I would ordinarily use it for. So I thought it was good. It was good. Let's have a look. But the other angle, I have one of those wide angle adapters for my vlog camera. I'll go out on Helios to check it out. I mean, I guess you do a fair amount to the image in post afterwards, so I guess it's less noticeable. But like those adapters for the wide angle stuff, I haven't used them in like 20 years, but I haven't really had the best experiences with them. It's a vape. So I posted it on Instagram, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, what are you doing? Like, you're vaping now?" I was like, "What do you mean?" I totally forgot that is what everybody would assumed it was, because it is so small. Yeah, everybody was like, "Oh, vaping." Or there are people send me images of their vapes going, "I've already got one, lol." I guess. I mean, I don't think the vape smoke stays around very long at all. But if you're making it work, crack on. That's absolutely fine. CHS is Swiss francs. That makes sense, Norm. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so I have to convert that to see what that costs. Yeah. Loving the Smoke Ninja thing. Yeah, it's good, man. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. I'm looking forward to testing it out again. They've given it to me for a few weeks, so yeah, I'm looking forward to having a bit of a play with it and see what it can do. I'm also normally never really crossed my mind, but I started to look at the dry ice thing, and I was like, what can I do with that? Because I was kind of testing it a little bit in like a tray, and it just sits there, and it's got this kind of landscape look to it, right? Because it just kind of sits there. I was like, you could skim some light across that. It was kind of getting me thinking about what I could do with that dry ice thing, because it does, it looks gorgeous. I could definitely think that it might be something that I could do with that. Yeah. But again, it's one of those things when you start thinking about it. The steam, I don't know what I'd use steam for, but the dry ice, I could definitely see me doing like a product shot with that. So vape smoke stays around more or less depending on the juice composition. Also, while doing my vape, do it, man, do it. Yeah, I'll have a look. Yeah. So this is another thing as well. I was getting a bunch of questions on Instagram today. After I posted that story, and what Vlad's saying there is the vape smoke stays around more or less depending on the type of juice that you use. And this is something that a lot of people don't realize, and I didn't realize for a long time. But if you're using a fog or haze machine or something like that, there is different types of juice that you can put in it, right? So there's some that's like super heavy and thick, and there's other that's just far lighter and a little bit more wispy and that sort of thing. So it makes it a little bit easier to manage. Sometimes you think, well, Jake, why would you need like the light one? You just use the heavy one and then wait for it to dissipate. Yeah, you're right. It's just in terms of consistency, right? So it's fine to do that. When you turn the the heavy one on, it's all like thick, and you got to wait for it, break it apart. Okay, cool. Right, take some shots. Okay, cool. And then you kind of go again, right? It kind of disappears, and then you go again, and that sort of thing. And it's really difficult in shoots, I've noticed, to get consistency. Like if you see a shoot through consistency, you'll be like really low contrast at the start of like a section of images, because there's tons of haze, and then it kind of fades off. It's like there's a sweet spot for like a few minutes, and then you have to start that process again. Whereas if you buy the weak juice, if there's a marketing spot opened up anywhere, just let me know. So if you get the weak juice, then you can kind of have that smoke machine on pretty much permanently, and it's just putting out a more consistent, more cleaner, even amount of haze, as opposed to this sort of like up and down effect, loads, wait for it to dissipate and that sort of thing. So yeah, if you are kind of fighting with that, look for different types of juice. But yeah. Lad having assistant smoke vapes on set instead of investing on a Hicks machine. That's it, Sam. Yeah. So again, yeah, there was a girl who was messaging me, and she said, "Oh yeah, I use my vape, and I like have my boyfriend in the corner just blowing smoke in." I was like, "Damn, that's he's really going for it." It's aged 10 years after a shoot, but yeah, like. I've used the vapes in shoots and stuff before. Like if the model does vape, then sort of certainly makes it easier. Yeah. But yeah, keep an eye on that Smoke Ninja. Definitely worth a look. Right then. Questions on that. Oh, lastly, what I remember. Don't forget, we got a workshop this Saturday in London. No, just outside of London. Hi Wickham. So pretty good to get to. We'll be going over sort of that cinematic setup I just showed you there, and we're going over some bolder colors and stuff as well, color setup, and then more of a sort of a classic colored fill portrait and that sort of thing. So this is produced by Rotolite, so it's basically subsidized by Rotolite, so that's why it's a fraction of the cost of normal workshop, is because they are they're producing it, right? They want you to get in there and play with the lights, so that's why it's crazy price. So if you are interested, then definitely check it out. I think it's like 12 till 5 there in High Wycombe. There you go. Yeah, great studio. Worked at that studio before. Love that studio. So yeah, it would be great to see you there on Saturday. Okay, so how do these workshops go? Can anyone join? Absolutely, Kat. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great question actually, because I've been doing these for years, right? And I think I kind of take it for granted a little bit. But yeah, I think that's a good question, and maybe that's something I need to elaborate on a little bit more in the future now that you've brought it up, because I think people can be a little bit put off by them, like what are we doing there? Like, is there a test? Like, you just turn up and off you go? Like, there's that's your section, off you go. I think you need to look at each one because they're all like different. Historically, my workshops are, and this is going to be more or less like that, and I'll explain what this one's going to be like. But for me, it's very hands-on. So like you turn up, and I'll kind of go through like lighting theory, right? My workshops are heavily based around educating you and enabling you to be able to recreate what I'm teaching you yourselves afterwards, right? There's plenty of workshops out there who really, they're what they call like portfolio builders, and that's fine. Like, you just turn up, you just given a number, and you just like, right, you're on that set, you got 6 minutes to take as many shots as you can, and then you're moving over there and that sort of thing. Like, that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Have a bit of fun, whatever. Take some shots. But for me, like, it is about definitely educating you guys on how to take the pictures. I've never done a portfolio day, so it doesn't interest me. I've set up lighting in the past for people, but I've usually always spoken about it, right? So on this particular workshop, what we're going to be doing is come in, I'll have a chat about, my thoughts on LEDs, especially obviously the Rotolites, what they bring to the table, and then we'll have got 3 setups on the day, and then probably have a little bit of light lunch, and then we'll split you up into three groups, and then you'll move around, right? And I will sort of talk you through and explain each of the setups and how I set everything up. So the setups will pretty much, like, everything will be kind of in place, and then once I'll start shooting first, show you what every light's doing, why I've put all the lights there and that sort of thing, and then you guys can shoot that and then move on. The other thing as well, like, a lot of people just come to these to kind of like hang out with like-minded people as well. I know a lot of people, I've certainly had regulars at my workshops over the years who do that, just come and hang out with other cool dudes. So that's good. But yeah, talk about some gear. But yeah, pretty easy day, to be fair. Very easy day. Is the new Rotolite not similar to the 8300, 8400 as far as light output goes? don't know how to convert lumens to watts if possible, so I just guess based on what my eyes can see. So this is a really interesting topic, Sam, and I'm glad that you're asking these questions, because I think loads of people don't understand this and just kind of get on with it, and which you can do, like you can do what you just said there. I just see what my eyes see and get on with it, right? But I think it's a really good question. So let's have a look. Okay, let's take like the EOS 2 here, for example, right? So let's get rid of the videos here a second. So this thing, right? What is it? And I've got them here somewhere, but they're like, so they're like 12 inches, whatever it is, 12, 13 inches across. And on that disc, you have, hundreds of little lights surrounding that disc. Okay. So versus like the 8400 or 8200 or something like that, which is just coming from this centralized flash tube right in the middle there. So it's coming from that one point. Okay. So what that means is that the light output from these two lights is very difficult to compare. So, those of us who've been using strobes for years, we are kind of ingrained in the mentality of the inverse square law, right? So what is it? You double the distance, quarter of the light, or something like that, right? So, as you move twice as far away from where you were, you're essentially receiving a quarter of the light, okay? Because that light is spreading, right? But that only works on a single point of light. And I got fairly nerdy on this in a recent article that I kind of found like a pretty interesting idea, because like the inverse square law is a theory that doesn't technically apply, because it lighting doesn't happen in a vacuum, okay? So light will bounce off the floor or the model or the walls and that sort of stuff, and it will affect that light drop off. But for the most part, right, we use the inverse square law to dictate how light's going to drop off, but that's because it's coming from a single point. The issue now becomes with LEDs is that they are coming from this mini wall of light, right? So we have this wall of light. Now what that means is the inverse square law doesn't apply to that, right? Which is kind of nuts. So, for years I've been moving my lights, further away from the subject and going, sort of like doing it by eye and going, oh yeah, that's fine. That'll be, I've moved it far enough away that, I've lost enough light now. But now with these light panels, light doesn't drop off in the same way, okay? Which is kind of weird. I had no idea that I'd written so many articles since I last posted this. I just want to show you the diagrams. I just thought I would just be able to find it real quick. But, such is life. I think it was on the LED tubes I did. Oh my god, like how long ago was this? Time is just flying by. But if I can show you this, it'll make a lot more sense. But it has been interesting, right? Because switching to LEDs, I've been using strobes for 20 years, but switching to LEDs has been fascinating, because it's just not used to the way that they act, which is very different to the single point lights. Like one of those articles there was talking about flash duration. Like flash duration is completely different on LEDs compared to strobes as well. I think it's in this one here. Here we go. Okay, so here you go. Look at this. Look. There you go. So this is the diagram, right? So double the distance, quarter of the light, right? So that's the inverse square law. And it kind of applies here with a single point, right? You see how quickly it drops off. So this is me taking light meter readings at different distances, yeah? So we've got 50 centimeters all the way up to like 200 there, like 2 meters away, and you can see how light falls off, right? And for the most part, that's fine. But like now look at what happens when we come down to a light source that's larger, like a tube or a panel or something like that. So the light, bearing in mind that at 50 centimeters, it's 5.6 on all of these. Okay, but the light falls off far more gradually. Okay, so the inverse square law doesn't apply to LED panels and that sort of thing. So a very long-winded way of saying to you this is why you can't compare watts to lumens, because it doesn't really strictly translate exactly the same way. So one thing that gives LEDs the beautiful quality of light that I'm absolutely been blown away by is that they create this kind of mini wall of light, which is really consistent, really clean, as opposed to it coming from a centralized point like this. It's just instantly vignettes. Okay. So it's a completely different way of thinking. So you can actually have your subject a lot closer to your light than you would think compared to a flash, because it's such a clean light. I wouldn't put I wouldn't put like a flash like super close to my subject with a flash, but you can do that with an LED because it's this beautiful wall of light. So it's been really interesting to see the differences. Yeah. So in terms of brightness, is it anywhere near the same? No, it's not. No, if you've got like a 200 watt light, I mean, I should just test it one day and just to know. But if you've got a 200 watt light at full power, it's able to send that light out right further. So it gives the impression that it's brighter. So that's what I'm saying. You can't really compare the two. Yeah. Vape smoke can be targeted as well. I guess. I mean, I guess you'd channel it. Yeah. It should be consistent, right, Matt? You just got to go full nerd, Vlad. You just got to go full nerd. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if anybody's interested, then check this one out, because it is an interesting idea how different LED lighting is to using flash, and you really do kind of have to come to terms with the fact that it is just going to be just going to give you different quality of light, and you can bring it closer. It's going to drop off more gradually. It's a whole other thing, and as well, that's the other thing as well. What we're used to on turning like flash powers, right? Sometimes it's numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that sort of thing. Other times it's you have a quarter, half, full, that sort of thing, right? And each notch is going to be an extra stop of brightness. So it's super easy to learn on those types of lights, right? You go, okay, I look at my camera. I'm at 5.6. I want it to be at a 2.8. So I just notch it down one, boom, job's done. So with LEDs, because light doesn't follow the inverse square law theory, it's very difficult. Like it can't predict where the subject is. So it's a percentage of 0 to 100. So to give you some idea, like if you're at 20% and you want an extra stop of power, you may have to turn it up to 28%, and that'll give you another stop, right? But if you're already at like 75% and you want another stop, maybe you got to turn it up to like 95% to get another stop. So you see there's like this curve of drop off in terms of power, right? So again, it takes a little bit getting used to, and like the brightness. But I mean, it's just a learning exercise, and you get pretty good with it. Even more nerd, yeah. I just been doing it a long time, Sam, and one of the things that kind of drew me to the LEDs as well was this whole new world to kind of learn. Like I said, this the light drop off, inverse square law, not having an impact and all that sort of thing is fascinating to me, because it's just, I've spent 20 years learning this one thing, and it's like, actually that's a law that you've been taught that it just isn't a law. It's like I said, super nerdy but fascinating, really. Yeah. Okay then, so I love any excuse to get off topic and talk about lighting, but let's bring it back to tonight's subject, which is going to be the like the art lenses and stuff, right? So let's have a look. So I've been using art lenses for a long time, right? Using art lenses for a very long time, and ever since I started shooting, I've always been using sort of older lenses, vintage lenses, manual focus lenses. It's always something that I will dip into and love any excuse to do so. So talking about art lenses, so what are art lenses? We got everything from, let's make this screen bigger so we can actually have a look a minute. So yeah, you got everything from your like your vintage, old. This is a Pentacon, but we've got an old like Helios one here, right? Classic old Russian one that hugely popular now, seen a huge resurgence. So I think this is a relatively new one. This is from '85, I think. So yeah, but still old lenses like this, right? And you can pick these up cheap on eBay, right? You can get like an old Olympus lens or an old whatever you want, old manual focus lens, and then you just get an adapter that goes to your camera, right? So from there, you also have like the remakes. So this is an absolute beast. This fella here is an absolute monster. So this one is an old Zenit lens, again like made in Russia, stamped in the side. It's got Cyrillic on the inside there and that sort of thing. But this is a remake. Okay, so it's a remake to the Nikon mount there as well. So this is like a modernized version of the old lens. And again, it's all like all these are all manual, right? So and in here we've got like the aperture ring on the outside and that sort of stuff. Yeah. So they're all like this is actually a beautiful lens. Extremely heavy to use for any extended period of time. But yeah, so like a modern remake of an old classic, as it were. Okay, and there's a bunch of those around as well. I'm just putting the ND filter back on there. So we got this one here. So this was brought out by Lomography many years ago. Okay, and this is like a remake of the old Petzval lens. Okay, and again, like manual style. You've got, this is just a cover, but this is where the apertures go in there, and then like you have this like rack and pinion focusing thing here, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, you're literally focusing using the old rack and pinion at the side there. But again, that gives you a very swirly kind of look. You just have, like I said, I've already mentioned these as well, but you just have the classic, like just a regular. This is an old Nikon lens. I think we all enjoy to rip on Nikon at every chance we get. But one of the things I did like about Nikon was that you could use all their old lenses, like the mount. God love them. The mount has been the same for like 50 years or something, even longer, right? Which is kind of fascinating engineering, that you can pick up a lens that's 50, 60 years old and just put it straight on. Sadly, they had to change that with the mirrorless. Apparently, got to move with the times or something. But yeah, so you just get regular lenses, and then we get more into like the kind of bespoke art lenses. So like Lensbaby does a huge range, right? So and at one end you have something like the Lensbaby Velvet here, which is just trying to replicate more of a vintage look. Okay, so it's not. So this is a Velvet 58, I think, 56 Velvet 56. So this is not trying to do anything crazy with swirls and all that sort of stuff, but it is going to have some slight, clouding in there, some slight imperfections, a little bit furry towards the edges. So it's going to give you that kind of dreamy, nostalgic look. They have the Velvet 85 as well, so it's obviously a larger one. So again, and then you move up into the like the really arty-farty lenses, right? And giving you that really sort of distinctive look. And Lensbaby, in my opinion, arguably one of the best companies that do this. And they're going to have like slices of focus. They can have swirls of focus. They can have spots of focus. So here, this is the Lensbaby. One of the lenses here. So how does it work then? So what you have here is you have the housing. Okay, so this is the Composer Pro. That's the housing. Okay, and then what goes in the housing is your specific lens. Okay, so here we've got a Sweet 50. Okay, and what that does is that gives you more of like a pool in the middle of focus that kind of spreads out. And I'll show you some examples of these in a minute. And then you just put it in the housing, and then you have this kind of ball joint lens here that you can dictate where you focus the actual center point, like center sharpness point, right? So the great thing about this system is that you can just pop these out, and so you just need to buy this housing for your Sony, Canon, Nikon, whatever, right? And then you just buy the different housings, right? And these the housings are like 120, 150 quid or something, or they were last time I checked. So like they are not super expensive to get into, and like don't be fooled into thinking that it's just some crappy art, cheap art lens. They're incredibly sharp. They're razor sharp, especially some of the newer ones. Very, very sharp. Yeah. And so just pump back here. So Stunning says, yeah, LEDs really create a whole new world of creativity techniques. It does, Stunning. Yeah, it does. Yeah. I mean, whether you like that or not, but yeah, I absolutely agree. I think it is a brand new world, and it's kind of like you think you know it all, and then you it's like holy hell, like these colors, like I've got 16 million colors now as opposed to the 12 that I had before. Sam says, it just sucks that you can't shape Rotolite with the modifiers because you'd kill the already limited power, but for the work I do, Rotolite does the job for me anyway. So yeah, so just touching back on this, before we move on there. But yeah, like not being able to adjust the modifier. I mean, like they make softboxes and that sort of thing, which is fine. I'm just coming back to the article here a second before we get back to the lenses. But we go. So what did because I had something here. Actually, let me see if I could find it a second. It was the most one of the most this is easy ones, the most recent one ish. Here we go. So this is the solution that I have. For the most part, I use my Rotolites to create all of the colors, right? And then I'll use my Godox S mount here. So this is an SZ150R. I do prefer Rotolite giving them actual names rather than just letters and symbols, but anyway, like Godox does. But anyway, so this is the the SZ150R on the back there. So that is an SFIT full RGB color light. Now that's only 150 watts, so it's not hugely bright. I would definitely prefer a 300 or even a 600, but what are you going to do? And then that enables you to focus the light, and then I will blend that with my Rotolites. Yeah. So, but I agree with you. Like the Rotolites have softboxes, which is fine, but you're just making an already beautifully soft light soft. So I mean, yeah, which is great if you need it, but like you say, it doesn't give you the ability to, put a pocket of light exactly where you need it. Yeah. So that's talking about also weighs a ton. Yeah, you talking about all these old lenses. Yeah, they all weigh a lot. That old Zenit is by far and away. I did a shoot the other day with it, and it was like I genuinely like the day after my arm and hand was killing. And you're right, if you're talking about this Petzval one, that weighs an absolute ton as well. Yeah, I mean it's got rack and pinion system in it. Yeah. Sam says, speaking of vintage, it would be cool to see color gel portraits with vintage cameras. Yeah, you mean on film, right? You're talking about on film? Like, what is it? Because you're not wrong. I'm just kind of curious as to what it is that kind of stands out to you about that. What is it that you like about? Would you just like to see like the old school approach to photography, but with color gels and that sort of thing? Is that what kind of draws you in? Yeah. Speaking of manual lenses, get someone to 3D print a few of those for your lenses. Get someone to print 3D print you a few of those for your lenses. Is that right, Vlad? Did it? Okay, I'll have to look at that. Can you put the link without? Just I'll add the. Yeah, can you leave the end off? Will it still think? But that is true. How can I? I think I've got it set to everybody can comment. I'm not going to do it now, but I will look at it. I will look at it another time. But I'm sure I double checked before I started, and I've just opened it up as much as I could possibly could. Speaking of main facts, but yeah, please let me know what that was. Yeah, so it's a tilt lens. So Sam, yeah, so it is like this one here that you're talking about with the ball joint kind of is. So let's get into that then. Let's have a look. So this is kind of interesting about lenses. I did this article a long time ago, right, 2016, and what I basically did was I bought this old Nikon lens here. I think it's this one. Yeah, one of these ones. Old Nikon lens here, right, on eBay, and I don't know when that one was made. I would need to check, but like probably around the 70s, right? Made in the 70s. I got this old kit lens here, which you can pick up for like £100 on eBay now. It's like a 28 to 105, like f4. I did a lot of campaigns on that lens, and you can pick it up for dirt cheap, right? And then I have my regular 24 to 70, £1,000 lens, whatever it is, £1,200 lens, right? And I took the same shot on all of these. What was fascinating to me, and look at the quality here. This is censored, but look at the sharpness here, right? That's like a 50-year-old lens, right? This is a kit lens you can pick up for £100, and then this is like £1,200 lens, new one. What's fascinating to me is that this is a 50-60-year-old lens. Like, this thing is sharp, right? This thing is sharp. I mean, it might be a little bit fuzzy towards the edges, but glass has been. This is a kit lens. You can pick this up for 100 quid. It is crisp. I'm telling you, right? It's nuts, right? And then this is the modern one. Like, yeah, lenses is a marketing dream, man. Honestly, it's so easy to sell lenses. You just go, this is cleaner, this is clearer. Okay. Glass has been incredible for decades, right? Absolutely decades. Glass has been clear for a long time. So my point here is that don't just buy any old cheap lens on eBay, old 50-year-old lens, vintage lens. Ooh, it's going to give me an artistic look. This won't give you an artistic look, right? It's an old, this is how you zoom this lens. It's push and pull zoom. That thing is sharp, right? So you got to look for kind of, crappy old Russian lenses that were, that were drug up across the factory floor. To get that kind of vintage look. So, if you're going to go down the arty-farty, route, look for crappy lenses. You can't just buy a 50-year-old lens and think that it's going to give you dreamy quality. It's just not going to. Yeah. AJ, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, link is in the IG inbox. Can put it in there. Okay. No worries, buddy. No worries. Okay, thank you. I will look at that, Vlad. That is maybe. Yeah, I'm going to see if there's something I can do with that. How would you say these lenses differ from your regular lenses? So yeah, good question, Chris. I think there's a time and a place for them. Yeah, and I tend to shoot with my regular lenses, do a bunch, and then at the end of the shoot, I will switch to like the art lenses and get a bunch of shots as well. So, I'll be honest, I don't ever do an entire shoot start to finish just on the art lenses. I use it as kind of cool, right? I got the shots that I want. Let's get some of the arty ones, and like they kind of, they kind of are like bonus images. But if we go back to, even here, like at the event last week, or like a couple of weeks ago, right? So this is you know, I was used the Lens Baby at the event. So this is the tilt shift one. This is the edge, right? So I got a bunch of images, you know, classic images, right? And then I was like, cool, let's switch to this, right? Just to give me this effect. And like that's cool, but it really sort of plays into certain images that, let's have a look here what we got. So this shoot that I've been kind of showing you guys that I absolutely like fallen in love with. I haven't shared these yet, but this is like the normal lens, right? So this is the 24-70, great lens, and then immediately we switch into that Lens Baby edge, right? And immediately you can start to see like these elements of this outfit now start to kind of pop out, right? We have this little bits of bokeh and stuff. Beautiful. I mean, like, absolutely love these shots, right? And I kind of mentioned it in my post on Friday, where is just finally a good image, right? And you know, it just resonates with everything that you're trying to kind of achieve, and you know, and this is again, that's the Lens Baby edge that you wouldn't really know that is an art lens that costs you like 150 quid or something. You know, it's a beautiful lens. So to answer your question there, like when I you know, when do you use them? I kind of used them on top of my other shots as well. Yeah. As sharp as a 3000 Sony G Master with diffusion filter. Exactly, Sam. Yeah, but you joke, right, Sam? You joke, but I do see people with like, I mean, years ago it was like the Canon 5D. You know, it would have the £2,000 like white lens on it, like the 70-200, right? And it would have like this £6 Jessup's UV filter on the end of it, and it's just like, you just spent £2,000 on that lens, and you just basically whacking like a £6 Jessup's UV filter on the end. Yeah, you know, it's you know, you got to know what you're doing a little bit. Yeah, you're right. Hey Ian, how you doing, mate? Have you shot in the studio with one of these Siri anamorphic lenses yet? So I'm not familiar with that Siri one, Ian, but I'll have a look at that. But yeah, and Vlad's been kind of playing around with the anamorphic, you know, aesthetic a little bit. You know, he's like 3D printed, you know, oval apertures and that sort of thing for some of his vintage lenses. You know, he's kind of getting there. And then, you know, you can put like catgut over the end of it, or sorry, it's not called fishing line over the end of the lens, or dental floss, and it will give you these, you know, anamorphic streaks and that sort of stuff. You can kind of hack it, but you are right. We are seeing a rise, Ian, in these kind of faux anamorphics, or like anamorphics that are kind of being coveted for their look, rather than the original anamorphic quality, which was being able to shoot like a wide shot or a longer shot in a very small space. So like back in the day, it would be, if you were trying to shoot in a car, right, you've got the couple in the back of the car, and like maybe you're in the front seat and you need to get a shot of them in the car. Well, how do you get like a long lens shot like that? Like, you can't do it, right? You're in the car. So like the anamorphic lenses would kind of create this stretched image, this wide angle lens that you would then compress back, and it gives you this kind of longer lens look. So that was the original use for the anamorphics, was to try and, you know, combat this you know, longer lens look in a small space. And then from there, this is where like the squashed bokeh and then the, you know, like the blue flares and all that sort of stuff has kind of grown from. So yeah, you're right. I haven't seen that company, but I will have a look, because we're seeing like a huge rise of these kind of lenses kind of capitalizing on that look. Yeah. Plus, it's a plastic thing that made you go over the focus ring, and it gives you lever, helps so much focusing. Interesting. Okay, Vlad. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Yeah. I'll have a look at that. Yeah, interesting. All right. Yeah. Just like having cataracts. Exactly, Chris. Yeah, exactly. Just exactly like that. Yeah. Got tired of IG censoring his work, so he switched to Lens Baby and censored the image himself with Dreamy. Exactly. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The other thing as well, like you kind of mentioned this about that, but I've been using Lens Baby for, I don't know, over 10 years now, and the kind of like one of the original things that the people would say is, oh, you could just do that in Photoshop. And within reason, right, when we start looking at kind of specific areas like this, where we start to pick up like the bokeh, and you can zoom in on this if you were that inclined, and that bokeh has actual data in there, like little artifacts within that bokeh and that sort of thing. Also, the color blending that happens when you're doing it in camera is, in my opinion, like this, like, see how it's gradually blurred down and and kind of blends in. It's very, very difficult to do in Photoshop when you start to talk about bokeh effects and that sort of stuff as well. It's just, in my opinion, no comparison. So yeah, to your point about that, sort of blurring it yourself and that sort of thing, if you were to go down that route, it is a far more beautiful effect than kind of people saying they could just do it in Photoshop is bullshit. Yeah. All about fake morphic. Yeah, exactly. Would love to play with Siri, but I don't have a mirrorless. Okay, so you've heard of it as well. I'm glad. Yeah, I'll have a look. Yeah, have a look. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so it's weird that we got distracted. It's bizarre. So on my site here, we can see, like I said, that a lot of these go back many, many years. So I had, pretty strong relationship with Lens Baby years ago, and I was regularly. They would regularly reach out to me, especially if they were working on, a new lens and that sort of stuff. And I would either get prototypes of bits and pieces to play with and have a look at, some of the engineers and stuff there. But this was many years ago. Now, things have changed in recent years, and I think they're kind of steering away from the type of work that I do, which is fine. They've really focused their efforts more into like the, I hate using this word, but like the amateur market with regards to soccer moms type league and stuff. So there's a lot of in the garden shots and all that sort of stuff as well. That's where they feel that they can make their money and that sort of thing. Absolutely fine, nothing wrong with that. I haven't spoken to them in years and years and years and years and years. The reason I'm saying this is because I don't want you guys thinking, oh, Jake's just shilling Lens Baby. I have spoken to them for years. I don't get any money from them. They haven't sent me anything in years. They've gone in different directions. Absolutely fine. The other reason I'm telling you this is because I don't want you to go and maybe look at the Lens Baby site and go, oh, this is all looking a little bit kitsch. Like, I'm not sure about the quality. The quality of these lenses is absolutely outstanding. Now, talking about, let's see, we got, where are we? We got. I think we got, did I do? So, this is, that's a Lens Baby, right? This thing is razor sharp, right? This is the full image here. This thing is nuts, right? This thing is sharper than most of my Nikon lenses. Right, so these lenses are not just like kids' toys, right? These things are the real deal. So don't be thinking, I don't want they're going to be a little bit crappy and that sort of thing, a little bit plasticky. Absolutely not, right? These things are nuts. I remember like a million years ago when I first took this shot. I think this kind of explains how the tilt shift thing works. But yeah, like a million years ago when I took this shot. Yeah, I posted it on Facebook, right, years ago. And I was, it was like Friday afternoon. I was like, right, guys, leaving for the weekend. Here's this image. In the comments, tell me what lens you thought this was shot on. And I showed, how crisp it was and how sharp it was. You have people in there saying, oh, it's the new Leica L lens, $4,000 lens, and all that sort of stuff. You had people saying, the new Canon lens, the new Sony lens, sort of stuff. Like, people were just like, yeah, that thing is nuts. Because what this looks like here with this slice is it looks like you've taken an f1.2, right? But you're not. You're just adjusting the plane of focus. So you can get these. So you see here, you're kind of shifting the plane of focus. So the eyes are being focused, but because you've knocked back the plane, right now this is out of focus, right? So a lot of fun to play with, yeah, a lot of fun to play with. And this is the edge. Yeah, so I got the edge 35 and the edge 80, and yeah, again, you just sort of, it's not a tilt shift because it doesn't have the shift, but it's a tilt lens. So yeah, definitely one of my favorites, and the tilt is probably the one that I use the most now, purely because of that kind of look that I that's the tilt, that's the look that I've kind of shown you here, right? So the other sort of popular one that I used a lot was, let's have a look. So this one here, right? So this is the Sweet 50, I think it is. So you can see here what we've got going on this shot is it's like focused here, and you can see down here, like the further we get from that point of focus, the more kind of blurred it gets, right? So with these, like you angle where you want that focus point to be. So if you're looking through the camera and like the head, like the face is in the top right, so you angle that lens up to the top right, focus on it, boom, that's it. Everything else from there sort of comes out in this circular blur, which gives you this kind of like really drawing you in look. I've used that a ton. I think that's the same article, yeah. So the other one, which is kind of cool, which I kind of want to use more of, but didn't really, was this twist. And like this twist, as you may well imagine, is just giving you that swirl, right? So that's the swirl, like the twist there. Okay, so again, this is an I don't, is it the, oh, it is. Okay, so you can pop this one out as well. So some of these will require different housings, but yeah, so that's the twist. So that gives you the real strong swirly outside bit. Now the only issue with that, and this would be cool if you were doing video and that sort of thing, but the only issue with that is that it's always in the center, right? Which is cool if your subject's in the center, but I don't know about you, but for most of my shots, the subject's head is usually in the top third, or off to the top right and that sort of thing. So if that was the case, like their eyes and stuff aren't in focus. So if you're putting your subject dead center, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful effect, really strong effect, super strong effect, and the face is pretty crisp, So that's the twist 60. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And what else have we got here? This is the one that I wanted to kind of show you. This was a Kickstarter a million years ago that I signed up for, and this is the Petsful, job. Yeah, this absolute beast with the rack and pinion focusing. So here we have the issue, right? And it is a beautiful lens, and it is, you do get beautiful quality, but you can see again we have the issue where we can't dictate where the central point will be. So what you end up with is like the top bits here as we get towards the outside coming a little bit blurry, right? So you see if I bring her down into the middle, so we can kind of get her face a little bit more in focus, but we see down here it's nice and soft. And again, I mean, it's a beautiful lens. It is a beautiful lens. It's time consuming. Like I said, I've got a key ring full of apertures that you have to slot in and out, right? And then you have to rack and pinion focus. So it is a beautiful lens. Like the quality of the images are, you see how soft it is towards the edges here. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous lens. But like, if your subject's going to be in the middle, great. If not, it is gonna struggle, right? It is gonna struggle. So I was kind of thinking of ways to put her face in the middle, right? So let's do some shots with your hands above your head, right? Let's do some shots up there like that. I love this shot. This is a gorgeous shot, beautiful. It definitely gives you that kind of, I know I hate using the word vintage, but it definitely gives you that nostalgic kind of look to how soft it is. Yeah. If you can believe it or not, that beautiful young lady is my wife. So here again we have some other ones. So here we're just talking F2. I'm just looking at what I actually said here. Bokeh control 1, bokeh control 4. Interesting. Yeah. So this is even more extreme blurring down here. I mean, that's heavy, right? Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Definitely, it can work though. It can work, especially if you've got some energy in there. We've got the fan on, that sort of thing. Yeah. So, yeah, that one is the Petzl 58. Okay, so beautiful looking lens, but again, pretty unique in what it's trying to do. I don't know how much. I would have no idea how much it costs now. I know it was obviously cheaper on Kickstarter, but yeah. Is that the old D600? Nice. There you go. There's the apertures. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Really pulling the Adobe, you say, coming up next maybe for tablets. They are pulling an Adobe, you say, coming up next lens for tablets. Yeah. It's true. I mean, it's true. You are right, Vlad. Yeah, I'm sure it would be. Yeah, if they wanted to, they could specifically emulate it. Yeah. I want to spend more time with loved ones, so tools that help minimize time on Photoshop is appreciated. Yeah, if you're looking for that effect in camera, then yeah. The other thing as well, and this is something that I really strongly believe in, is that I've used these art lenses, whatever you want to call it, on shoots with the client, right? Because they've shown me images. Okay, Jake, we want images like this. I was like, cool, this is how we do it, and we do it with these art lenses. The thing is, when you do it in camera on the day with them, like they're just not questioning it afterwards, right? If you're going, oh yeah, I'll add it later on. What you do is you go back, you start taking some pictures later on, and you go, okay, I've added the effect. And they're like, it's not really what I was thinking. Like, can we have a little bit more blurring? Oh, we've got too much blurring on the hands there. Can we take that back? As soon as you open it up to doing it in post for people, they just want too much control, right? So if you're doing it on the day, nobody questions it later on, right? Well, you saw it on the day. That's how it looked, So there's no gray area there. So that's a thing that I love about it. Yeah. Thank you, Feeding Wolves. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. Is twist sharper than the Helios? Well, it's infinitely sharper than the Helios. Yeah, whether you like that or not, right? Some people like Vlad, for example, may not be into that, but yeah, if you want that, sharp in the middle pop, then yeah, that twist is very, very sharp. Yeah, real sharp. Yeah. Whereas the Helios is definitely going to be softer throughout. Plus, this is arguably exaggerated swirl. I mean, what I'm saying is that the twist is really doubling down on the swirling. Like the Helios is maybe a little bit more subtle, and like once you see it in the background, you can't unsee it. But like this, the twist is all about this, right? So, and if you look on the site, some of their examples, it's real strong. But if you're doing shots like this, or like trying to be a little bit more energetic with it, then it can definitely work. Yeah, but it is very sharp in the middle. Yeah. I struggle with Helios as I don't know which one to get because different factories built them and each did differently. Yeah, Sam, it is. There are plenty of places out there that you can check them. You are right. There is a lot of Helios. I mean, Vlad in chat here will probably know a huge amount about the Helioses, and if I asked him the question, which Helios would you recommend, I would honestly listen to what he told me. So, Vlad, what would you recommend from all the Helioses that are out there? What sort of things which one would you kind of recommend? Is there a certain year or a factory that you think is best? If you don't have any Helios, get any Helios. If you already have one, get one from them. Okay, Vlad. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. And you see, I didn't. So when I was like years ago, back when we were students, like it was always like the Zeniths, right? That was the old Zenith lenses, like this beast, like the old OG Zenith lenses. We used to love those as students. We used to love them. So when I was a bit older, I was like, oh, this came out as like 300 quid or something like that, a million years ago, and on eBay or something like that. So I was like, okay, I grabbed it, and I was looking into different looks and lenses, and people were banging on about the Helios, have been doing for years, and I didn't realize. So I just bought like the first one that came up. So this one is not particularly strong, and it's very difficult to use on the Nikon anyway, just because of the mounts, like, and the infinite focus thing. But this is one of the newer ones. Like the older ones are gonna be, so like pre-80s, like the older ones are gonna be worse, i.e. better, in my opinion. Yeah. So yeah, try and get one of the earlier ones. Yeah. Okay. So this little article here, which I forgot that I did years ago, but what it kind of did was it just kind of gives you like a visual representation of what each of these lenses is doing, right? So straight 50mm, boom, this is what we get. 85mm, boom, this is what we get. Sweet 50. Okay, we start to see what we're getting there now, and now you start to see on this example grid here, right? You start to see how we have like the focus bit here, and then it starts to blurring out over here, right? Then we've got the edge. Okay, so it's like a slice, and again here you see we got this slice of focus here going through the middle on this grid. We've got the twist. So you can see it kind of having an effect up here as well. Okay, and then we have the velvet. So the velvet is like the velvet lenses are an interesting one. I mean, I think one of my most famous images was taken with that velvet 58 many years ago. Let me go back, see if I can find it. So this one here, right? So some of these images are taken on this velvet 58, and you look at that shot and you don't immediately think, oh, shot with an art lens, right? So like there are definitely areas here, right, where it's getting a little bit creamy, right? So not all of these are shot with the velvet, because you can tell here it's clean at the edges and that sort of thing, but it has a very beautiful but subtle effect to it. So it really depends what you want. And the velvet is crazy how much of a difference, like going from f2.8 to f4 will make, in terms of the impact of it. But it's a little bit hazier. Yeah, subtle but worth doing. So if you can put up with the manual focus, then you probably just shoot that all the time. The velvet is going to be fine. Again, sharper in the middle. You have a good explanation of which means sharp factory and which one random Russian quality. If you want very sharp, go for the good factory. Otherwise, all of them are good. Also keep in mind Soviet Russia, there was little to no quality control. So there's the same factory anyway. So Vlad is absolutely right. There was a very good video that I saw not too long ago on all the different Helios lenses, and I will try and find it for you. I will try and find it because it's worth watching. Yeah, worth watching. It doesn't give you example images, but it just kind of talks about which ones are newer, better, crappier, loose, movement, that sort of stuff. So yeah. Helios 42. Watch before you buy it. It was recommending. Okay, nice. So look, this article here, if you're curious, have a look at that. That gives you a really good idea, especially of the Lens Baby effects. It has a really, really sort of good example, in my opinion, pretty easy to understand exactly what each lens is doing. And like I said, you just buy the housing for a lot of these lenses, not all of them, but for a lot of them, you just buy the housing for your particular camera here. So I've got both a Canon and a Nikon housing here, because I used to use them on the workshop. Some people had Nikon and Canon. Pretty much everybody just shoots Sony now, but but yeah. So and then you just buy the different lenses, right? And then you just pop them in there. So let's have a look. What Wex photo and video. Let's have a look. I could be wrong, but let's see. Let's just see how much. I'm just kind of curious. To my knowledge, they were like 300 quid, but I don't even know what this one is. Oh, this is the new one coming out. This is 200 quid all in. Interesting. So you got the Velvet here, 500 quid. Okay. So here you go. Look, you go to the twist optic, right? It's nuts. You just put that fella in there, 180 quid. You just need the optic, right? So if you don't have it, then you can get the. So here you go. So this is what I started off with. This is exactly what obviously a Nikon, but it's exactly what I started off with. Composer Pro with a Sweet 50 optic. So this gets you an optic as well as the housing. 300 quid. Off you go. Yeah. So in my opinion, they're not expensive. Yeah, they really aren't. This is the old school ones. I remember those. Yeah. So yeah, they're not hugely expensive. Like the Velvets are though. Yeah, Velvets are more expensive. I think I'm gonna have to dig the old Velvet out again, give it another go. Yeah. All right, Vlad, thank you. Yeah, I'll have a look. Yeah, that sucks, man. I suppose links and stuff I can kind of understand, but still, I should be able to allow people to link. But anyway, yeah, we'll see. Okay. So, yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So you guys can see my comment there though with the link or not? Are my links in here or not? Oh, they are. Yeah, my links are there. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. Is any of the questions on that? Let me know. But otherwise, we can call it on that. Oh, thanks, Vlad. Okay, cool, perfect. Thank you. So yeah, if you want something a bit more practical, then the Lens Baby allows you to, put that focus point exactly where you want it, right? So on the eyes, which is really useful. You're able to just put that slice on the eyes. Even with something like the Composer Pro, right, you're able to focus on the eyes. So if you want that cool effect, then the Lens Babies enable you to kind of put that centralized point where you want it. If you're really after like the more traditional style, vintage, look, then going for one of those original lenses like the Petzval is going to be a really dramatic look, really focused look. But again, you are limited to your subject having to be in the middle, so you have to get creative with posing and that sort of thing. But it is a gorgeous look. If you shoot a lot outside, you can get away with putting the subject kind of in the middle, right? In the studio it's a little bit harder, but when you're outside you can definitely get away with it, and it's really pronounced. So yeah. And then if you're just after something a little bit more subtle, then like the Helios is going to give you that kind of vintage style, but softer, not quite as crazy. So if they're not dead in the middle, it's not the end of the world, right? So yeah. Does anybody use any art lenses at all in chat? Do any of you use Lensbaby, Helioses, Zenits, Petzls? Do any of you use any of those lenses at the moment? Do you use any? In fact, do anybody use a manual focus lens? Because that's really what it kind of boils down to, right? If you're using a manual focus lens, then you're kind of doing that for that kind of, you know, look, that old school look. Yeah. Sending my first live video in a while. Oh, hey Edgar, how you doing? Good to see you, mate. Okay. Right. So by all means, ask any questions and share what you guys are using. I'm just going to scooch over back to Facebook there, and let's see if you guys have posted any images. Let's give this a quick refresh. We can go through some of these. Oh, you guys did not disappoint, coming in clutch with the images. Good job. Thank you guys for sharing those ones. Nice. Let's get all these sharing. So Annie says, I have a few lenses. You do, Annie? Yeah, I thought you did, Annie. Yeah. Because you use the Sweet 50 and that's right? Yeah. Do you use them much? But so technically, considering most of my lenses are modded, they are art, right? Yes, Vlad, I would definitely say that your lenses are art lenses. Kat says, I had no idea these were a thing, but they look really fun and interesting. I mean, that's the other thing as well, Kat. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Yeah, they are a lot of fun. There's like ways that you can kind of get around it. If you've got like in terms of the manual lens, because all these are manual, right? That's the biggest downside, is the manual focusing. So if you guys are using mirrorless with an EVF focus peaking, you're looking through the viewfinder and it will tell you exactly when it's in focus. If you guys are using one of those cameras, you've got no excuse to not be using manual focused art lenses and that sort of stuff, because it's so simple. And this may sound ridiculous to you guys, but it is the biggest thing that makes me want to switch to mirrorless, is the through the lens or EVF focus peaking for manual focus lenses. So easy. I'll show you what I use on my DSLR. So I set focus peaking up on my live view, right, on the back of the on the back of the monitor. So it'll be live view on the monitor, focus peaking on the monitor, and then I use one of these beasts, right? So that goes into the bottom of the camera, and then I look through this, and this covers the actual live view screen, right? So now I'm shooting, looking at my live view screen through this, and this enables me. This is like a loop, if you like, and this you got this on eBay. It's not expensive, but yeah, you just whack that on your DSLR, and it enables you to manual focus super easy with that. So that's what I use, and pretty damn effective. Yeah. I don't think, have I got any images of it recently? Let me just see whilst you're typing in chat. Let me just check. Oh, this is it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So this is shot on. So these shots are with the old Zenit Monster, right? So I'm using that, and then I'm focus peaking on the live view with this, right? So you end up with this really heavy contraption, but it just makes it easier in terms of shooting, right? So these shots are taken with that Zenit and manual focus peaking, and again, like kind of beautiful, softer edges. You can kind of see a little bit of the highlights glowing and stuff here, a little bit of glow on the highlights there, definitely some nice glow back here on these these highlights, right? And that's coming from that lens, right? And again, just a little bit softer here. Yeah. So, a little bit extra effort to use these lenses, but I think worth it from time to time, definitely worth it. Different look, right? Different look. Like you guys were saying, who said it? So Kat said up here. So Kat said, they look really fun, interesting. It is, like, it's fun to play with this, do something different, right? So it's not all, it doesn't all have to be published in Tatler. You can take images for fun every once in a while. So Harold says he's got the Canon tilt shift one. Nice. Okay, so you got like a pro tilt shift one, like with the knobs and dials on a tripod. And you're actually doing like architectural photography, or are you just talking about the Lens Baby tilt shift one? That's smearing Vaseline or wrapping batteries around his nothing. Sam's called you out there, mate. Absolutely shots fired. And he says, I forgot all about them, to tell you the truth. I suck at manual focus. Yeah, so, yeah, Annie, you're not alone, Annie. I think manual focus is a skill like a lot of things. It does take a little bit of time to get used to, right? Hence why, focus peaking on your cameras just kind of makes it extremely easy. Yeah, very, very easy. Yeah. Why does it make it easier to focus manually on a mirrorless? If I may ask. So usually with mirrorless cameras, you have an EVF, which is basically the electronic viewfinder, because you're not seeing the image through your mirrorless cameras because there's no mirror. What you're seeing is a digital like screen of what your camera is seeing, right? So you're seeing a live view, but through there. So when you're looking through here, it's very easy for you to basically set your camera to glow red when it's in focus on certain areas. This is what focus peaking is, right? So on it's different for everybody, but on my Nikon, yeah, focus peaking, you turn it on, it glows, like the areas that are in focus glow red. So you're just manually focusing, and then the bits that are in focus then start to glow red, and then you can take the picture. So it's just easier to do it. When you're trying to do it with a DSLR, you've got to use the live view screen, like you're standing out there like somebody's granddad, So that's why that basically just turns the live view screen into an EVF. Yeah. To get the blurry effect, I use Prism Lens FX. Oh, yeah, that's a good shout, actually. I forgot about those. Yeah, Prism Lens FX do kind of the things that you screw on the lenses, right? Is that what you're using? Like things that you screw on the front? They do some good ones, yeah. It sounds as though I shoot manual on my Sony most of the time. The legendary autofocus full fails on me from time to time. Really? Sam out there flexing. Okay, respect it. Yeah. Thank you, Annie. Thank you. Yeah. I have 2 UV filters sandwiched with Vaseline as well, but also have novel apertures and other stuff done to my lenses. This is so arty. Yeah, so arty. Right. Okay, let's have a look. We just refreshed that. All comments. Oh, Vlad's out first. Obviously, that reminds me. Vlad. Okay, so those of you that have been following the streams for a while, a couple of streams back, I forget now, we did a stream on presets, right? Lightroom presets and that sort of thing. And Vlad very kindly sent me some presets to try and play with, but the presets were really not geared around color grading or anything like that. Geared around trying to create this kind of more analog grain feel. There's noise and grain in Lightroom and that sort of thing, but what he's done is he's manually set this preset to pick out highlights from the image, midtones from the image, and shadows from the image, and give each of these areas different amounts of grain, because that's how the original grain looks in some of the analog film, right? So it's trying to be a little bit more realistic to that. And on stream, I kind of, hovered over them and that sort of thing, and had a little bit of a quick look. But when I was off stream, I kind of played with them a little bit longer. And what I've done is the images that you're looking at here, Vlad. So this is using your preset. This is using your grain preset. So these images are using your grain preset. The reason I wasn't overly happy with it to begin with was because so I was just generating shots and applying your preset to it, and it was just too strong. So I think your preset was based on the size of the image, so it's very heavily dependent on the size of the image. So what I ended up doing was I ended up applying your preset to didn't want to click on that. Applying your preset to a larger file, so 4,500 pixels by 3,000 pixels, right? Which is I think is these ones here, right? So I exported that with your preset on those files. Then I re-imported those larger files with your with your grain on it, and then exported it again at this size, which is 2048 pixels, right? And that gave like a beautiful kind of grain effect that matched the sort of size of the image that I was exporting for like social media and that sort of thing as well. So these images, specifically my high res images that I've just done from this set, are exported using your grain presets. So thank you for those. Yeah, it's looking good. Yeah, they've just lifted the blacks a nice amount, because I was doing the normal grain before, and I think maybe it's the last one here, and yeah, this is just lifted. You guys probably can't see it in here, but it's just lifted the blacks just a touch more, which I thought was really nice. Yeah. So thank you, for that. And again, so all these images that you'll see from this pink set are being exported with your noise presets. Yeah. Oh, I guess I use them all the time. So you're talking about the prism effects. Nice. Okay, yeah. I use I've got a bunch actually. How do I use? I use I forget which ones I use, but yeah, I've got the ones with like the anamorphic strips in them and that sort of stuff, and like the cine glows and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I like them. Yeah, they're good. Yeah. Harold says mostly TSE 90 for portraits and concept photography. Okay, I'll have a look at that one. Yeah, so that one is, I presume, like the dedicated tilt shift ones, which I haven't used since art college. We used to have to do architecture photography with them, and it's a nightmare. Super difficult to use though. Yeah, they're great though. They're great. So back to this then. So just going through some shots here. So Vlad shared this image. Guess who dusted his lights and set foot in the studio after a few months, and also thinking of DIY RGB lights. So Vlad is somebody, if you've not seen any of Vlad's work before, Vlad is somebody who does a lot outdoors with natural light. Okay, so he's kind of joking here that he got back into the studio, so he doesn't have tons of light kit. So this is like the original image. So he's just scuffed these these tubes together that he's made, and like to get the shot, and then he's just messed around with it in Photoshop afterwards. A little bit of fun, and again we can kind of see a very, very heavy use of grain here. So this is maybe why I kind of opted for to kind of tone down my grain on my shots. Flat, maybe using the same preset, but yeah, definitely on those larger files, it just soaks it up a little bit easier. So Vlad says, I have no control over what Lightroom does to grain in relation to the size of the image, but I use the preset as a first thing when start editing, and when I know grain will be in the final shot. Okay, so but you don't add grain before you bring it into Photoshop, or do you? Yeah. So what did you say about this one? Here, this is before Photoshop as well. I'm using 3 household LED tubes. Oh, these are LEDs. I thought they were fluorescents. Okay. With bad CRI. Yeah, I can see that. Those of you who don't know what CRI is like the quality of the light. So the closer to 100, like the cleaner the light. So like cheap knockoff LED lights from China is going to be like 85 or something like that. And something like Rotor lights is 98 or something. LED head with a standard reflector on the wall behind me. Okay, so he's got an LED head back here, and he's just using these edge lights. Cool. So one thing that's kind of interesting is you kind of using, like, bringing the lights into the shot, which is kind of cool. No reason why not to. Like, if you've got a pretty boring background or something like that, then yeah, why not bring them in? Yeah. So that says it's grain, Lightroom edit, disable mask, Photoshop, Lightroom add preset, add fine tune, and finally export. Okay. So you do it. Yes, you're doing a lot of steps there to get that. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Kind of like this kind of yellowy green that we've got here as well on the edges. Kind of nice, kind of cool. You got the taste for studio shooting back now, Vlad. It's winter time. You're gonna have to get back in the studio. So Miriam's got a shot here. Only sharing this because you asked for more shots here. Thank you, Miriam. Yeah, took this at a gig, and it was genuinely the most challenging lighting I had to work with at a show. There was no lights in front of the stage. I can see this has been cranked. Yeah, there were no lights at the stage. There were no lights in front of the stage, only at the back. Ah, okay. It looks really grungy and noisy, kind of like the vibe, but there is something that disturbs me a bit in it. Not sure what. This is what it looked like at the start. Slightly changed here. Okay. Yeah, that is tough to work with, man. That is tough. Yeah. Yeah, that's difficult. Yeah. I mean, it does kind of match. I mean, it screams 80s to me. But which is not a bad thing. Yeah, but it is interesting, like the power of what color will do to that. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would have just turned it black and white. You know, added some noise to it to kind of hide these effects here. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing with these shows, right? You don't have any choice. You just got to work with what you're given, because a lot of them won't allow flash, so you kind of stuck, right? Yeah. Zamira says, would like to hear your opinion about color correcting as well, please, and anything else really. And after a few edits to hide the BTS in the background, which ended up cropping anyways. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. This is a tough one, Miriam, in terms of coloring. The issue that you have is whatever you do, you're always going to be stuck with. You're always going to be stuck with these kind of very blown areas. So you may have seen, or at least hear me talk about it, but when I'm doing some of my color edits, I may add a layer at the end, like an exposure layer, that will just raise the black point up. And the reason I do that is because you can't color grade black and white. So pure black and pure, you can have pure black, and you can add as much red to it as you want. It's going to be black, right? So this is why color grading can become a little bit tricky in shots where we have a lot of dense black or a lot of pure white, because you can't do anything about this. Like, you can't color grade this. So it does become tricky as to what you can do with it in terms of color grading. You could probably take this into Photoshop and push and pull this around a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of green anyway, so if you could certainly knock it back, but you kind of then losing the very grungy, dirty effects that we've got in the shot as well. Yeah, so it's kind of difficult to know where to take it. You could certainly play with it. You could certainly play with it. I don't know where I would. Let's have a quick look. So Vlad says, I wanted to do 7 days, 7 studio self-portraits. 7 days, 7 so far is 1 self-portrait, 1 light. Nice. And tomorrow is vlog day because I wanted to launch a new preset. Okay, cool. All right. Right, let's have a look. I mean, winter time, right? Studio shooting becomes very appealing winter time. So yeah, like this is what I mean about. So you see what I'm doing here is I'm taking it off of white. It's never easy, is it? Hey? So there we go. So we're taking it down to like 85%. All right, so so that's pure white, and it's taking it down. So you're trying to give yourself something to work with. The other way is the offset. You can bring the offset up, and again that will bring up some of these darker areas. Right. So from there you can try and color grade it a little bit, but it's whatever you do, you're just gonna be left with those very bold two colors. Like, you're not getting away from that, you know. So you see here, see where we start to color it. So now, because we've taken that pure white away, so now we are starting to affect that. We're starting to affect that white. Yeah. Yeah. You see, if I take that off, you see it loses a lot of it. So I guess it depends if you wanted to try and remove that or not. But either way, you are stuck with a very bright, bold colors that you probably can't do too much about. I'm just curious. I know this is, if you colorize it, can you then color grade it? It's already color. Let's have a look. So how about if we strip the color from it? And then what, colorize? Yeah, it's a little bit hit and miss, you know. I mean, we got so many great choices there. But you may find that you could play with it and then color grade it afterwards, you know. This is terrible, but I'm just to show you, right? And then you could kind of color grade it afterwards. I mean, it's looking grungy now. So there might be something in that though, with regards to if you are in a situation where you just can't do anything with the lighting, right? Maybe, you know, maybe there's something in that. Turn it to black and white, get Photoshop to colorize it for you, and then you could kind of color grade it afterwards. Like there could be some mileage in playing with that. Yeah. It is, Vlad. Yeah, it is a clever way to remove a color cast. Yeah, because you basically, what you're doing is you kind of going, right, I'm just going to remove everything. I'm going to start from scratch. So, you know, I think you could, thinking about it now, I think you could certainly use that to your advantage if you were in a spot where you just had no other choice. I think there's definitely mileage there. Yeah. Not sure if that helped or not, but certainly interesting to think about, right? Thank you very much for your time and kindness. I was cringing the whole time about having shared the photo. No, I mean, Kat is Miriam, sorry. It's like, it happens, right? Like, you don't have control about light. You're not allowed to use flash. 99% of photographers would have just turned that black and white and added a ton of grain, right? Just really lent into the whole grungy thing. In my younger years, it's probably what I would have done. So, yeah, just now we have the ability to take it one step further, right? Turn it black and white, get Photoshop to colorize it, and then you can kind of play around with it if you wanted to, right? But yeah, you're caught between a rock and a hard place. They're not all going to be winners, And I appreciate you sharing it. It's something that you were struggling with. It's all very well, people sharing like their greatest portfolio work, but there's not too much that I can help them with that. Ian, Christ, like, I need to message you because that's my bad again. Ian, that is my bad. Honestly, Instagram is terrible for messaging me. It just gets swamped with nonsense. So I promise you I will email you Now that you've reminded me again, I do apologise. So watching live another idea. Beauty dish as key, big umbrella behind me, nice. Gentle fill, strip box as the edge, and optical snoot go on the background. Shoot on 135mm prime. 135mm, eh? So you got some space there, Ian. You got some space. Really enjoyed getting low as this shot to help. That pet looks strong. Agreed. We have several in similar pose, but I really like the light on the face and one angle. The gobo. Love any suggestions to improve. Look, man, you know, I think in terms of lighting, it's good, right? You know, we got nice, clean. We got no black corners or anything like that. We've got data all everywhere. We've got data in some of the shadows and stuff down here. Nothing wrong with having shadows, but I think having a little bit of light in them is really nice. So I think you've done a good job there. We've got a nice subtle background element there just to give us a little bit of depth perception, right? Without that, sometimes with just color armor backdrops, I mean, it's fine, but sometimes you've got no idea. Like that blue background could be 5 feet away or it could be 50 feet away, right? So I think, you know, if you have like an element on there, it just gives us a little bit, it's just easier to digest the image, gives us a sense of depth, right? We know that that's not too far away because we can see that light on the wall. So that's kind of cool. You know, lighting is subtle here. I love the fact that you're being subtle with these lights, especially these edge lights, not overblowing it. I still think we need to, I think I mentioned this before, right? Just by bringing these kind of edge lights up a little bit higher. So we kind of see if we can't get a little bit more light here. Because at the moment we've got light going up, right? So we kind of want the light coming down a little bit more. So, you know, bring those lights up a little bit higher. The only other sort of pet peeve of mine is limbs coming straight to camera. Looks a little bit amputated, right? It is a pain, right? But you've got to watch out for it because having those limbs to camera is real tricky. So if we could, you know, if we could have kind of like have this elbow out a little bit more, right? So have that arm coming across a little bit more. And then, you know, maybe having like more of a foot out there. I mean, who needs a camera really when you've got art skills like this? But yeah, so, you know, thinking about limbs the whole time with posing, yeah. And to be fair to the model, like she can't see this, is you can see this, so you have to kind of guide them a little bit, or you've got to move, right? If they're in a pose, you've got to move. You've got to, okay, cool, love that pose. Let me just come around here a little bit more, and now I'll be able to see more of these limbs, right? So a little bit of a pet peeve there, but we just got to watch out for that posing, you know. Yeah, feeding wolf. It's a useful trick to have in your back pocket if everything screws up. Yeah, just turn it black and white and then neutralize it, and then you can color grade what they've given you. Hey, I don't advise doing that, right? You need to get it right. But if all else fails, it is a clever little hack. Yeah. You know. No, you're good. Okay, so I don't know if Ian's still here or not, but thank you for sharing that one, Ian. I appreciate that. Sterling, this is looking cool. Yeah, so Sterling says, howdy, it's been a while. Something I did not too long ago. Hard to choose as I've done so much cool work since I participated. Yeah, model approached me about doing a Medusa shoot. Model had created snaky headpiece, but it was problematic and the snakes looked fake. Used AI to generate replacements. Projection used for pattern. Sterling, this is great stuff, man. This is really cool. A lot of work gone into this. Hey, no worries, Ian. Yeah, no worries. And look, I apologize again. I am thankfully she's here for 6 months because I am. Yeah, sorry, but I promise you, I will get back to you on that. It's my bad. Like I said, Instagram just gets swamped. Emails, at least I can move into folders. But yeah, I will get that sorted for you. And thank you for sharing it. Yeah. Sterling, this is great, man. I love this. Love this. And I think it's kind of a cool use of AI, right? And you got somebody came to you with an idea, and you know, I think many of us could have gone, oof, yeah, that Medusa headrest is looking sketchy, man. But I guess I'll shoot it if that's what you want. But you were like, look, let's think of, you know, I like your idea. Let's think of an alternative. And I think you've done great job to kind of spin this around and produce something that looks really cool. I mean, she must have been over the moon with this. Yeah. Steve Sterling says, I like to make things look real. Yeah, I bet she was over the moon with this, right, Sterling? Yeah. So you didn't just go all AI. Like I said, you got projection of actually getting the pattern and stuff on the skin. I think great idea, man. Yes, it's really cool. So I think, somebody came to you with a very loose outline of an idea, and you really brought a lot to the table on this. I think you've done a great job, man. Great job. It's very difficult to comment and give feedback on super creative work like this, but just thinking about, I love this little glow here. It would have just been nice just to see just a tiny bit more of that here. And then again, this is a pet peeve of mine, but I do like to have just some element of background, even if it's just super dark gray here, just so we can see where the model ends and the background begins. But I think with the snakes and stuff coming out of the blackness like this, I think it works. Excellent shot though. Yeah, really good. Yeah, just like to see just a touch more orange on this side, but great idea, man. Really well executed. Yeah, a lot of creative thinking going into that. AI did well to match it as well. Yeah. I bet she was. Yeah, the JPEG took out the background. Gotcha. Compression. Okay, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. No worries. Yeah. Do you doing a lot of that, Sterling? So what are you using? Are you using Midjourney to add in those elements? Because correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't used the AI programs too much myself, especially when it comes to integrating it into original images. Did you give the AI program your image and go, give me snakes on this? Like, how did you do it? Yeah. Anders has always got good stuff to share. Sterling just said he used Photoshop AI. Really interesting, Sterling. Okay, that's impressive, man. All in Photoshop. That's impressive. Okay. Because I assumed that because you can get Midjourney and that sort of thing to integrate images now, but it's all done in Photoshop. That's nuts, man. That's crazy. Yeah, good stuff. Thanks for sharing that. Interesting. So yeah, Anders always does some beautiful gel work. So he says, this is a picture from last Saturday where I worked with Molly. Here I used 2 silver umbrellas as usual on the rim light, but placed them at 90-degree angles so they also would spin onto the background. Nice. Dark gray. Nice. Not sure about this. Maybe it's better with a separate background light. This was much harder to control. Main lights from a Gritted Beauty dish with blue gel. Yes. I mean, it is easier to do with a separate light, but if you've got an extra light, then great. But then you need more space, right? Because at the moment, what you're doing is, you've probably got your model right facing that way. You're here with your camera, and you've probably got your background fairly close. Yeah. So that means that you've got your lights are spilling onto that background that's quite close. If you have a separate light, right, then that means you've got to have your subject, and then you're already using your lights here. Yeah. Now, if you have your background there, they're still going to be spilling onto it, even if you don't point it at it. So you have to then move your background further back. Then you've got to have room for another light. So yes, is it better to have another light? Absolutely. But do you have the space? If you don't have the space, then you can't really do it. And secondly, do you have just a spare light kicking about? Not everybody's got 4 or 5, 6 lights on hand. So yes, I mean, this is a cool shot, and I don't think, I don't think it's necessarily super apparent that you've spilled that light onto the background, and I think it looks natural. I'm just trying to see where does that image end. I would, again, it is a pet peeve of mine, but I would just like to see. I love this here, right? I love how much shadow we've got here, so I'd love to see the same amount on that side, just do this super quick. I'm just going to be really Photoshop. Do real quick here. Boom. That's actually worse. Okay, it's just okay. Right, what I want to do is I want to invert that, copy that, paste that, and then I want to I just want to fill this in. So if we use generative fill, what is that? Normally I would just use whatever it is, copy, edit, replace, or whatever it is. Let's see what this does. I just want to fill that in. Mate, Sterling, you're gonna have to teach us how to use this. How to use this new tool, man. It's not for everybody, you know. My guy's hilarious. Let's just use the old ways. Yeah. Okay. Right. Now I'm just gonna flip that. I'm reeling from that. That is gold, absolute gold. So now we can just kind of reselect. Why can't I reselect? You're kidding me. I apologize. What I'm trying to do is I apologize. I wanted to just do this real quick, and now it's just turned into this whole big fiasco. Doesn't help the fact that I'm being thrown off by whatever the hell that other thing was. So what I was trying to do, right? What I was trying to do is I was trying to bring that over there as well. Yeah, copy it across. Yeah, this is a really horrendous way of doing it. Don't do it like this. So just, you get the idea, right? So what? It's terribly done. I apologize, but you get the idea, right? This was very heavy black on this side. Yeah. So that's really all I was trying to do. Yeah. But yeah. If we could have not this heavy black on this side, yeah, or if you just needed a dandelion instead of a model, just do that instead, you know. Hey Steve, how you doing, mate? Yeah. All those comments are valid, yeah. Photoshop Mark, guys, stick with me. Stick with me. I'll teach you everything you need to know. Don't worry, guys, I got this. Mate, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So Chris, you posted this last week, Chris? You posted this last week, and I wrote this whole thing. That I said to you. Let's have a look. Where is that? I'm going back now. I'm gonna read out what I wrote to you last week. Where is it? Unless I'm imagining it. Here it is. Right. So this is what I wrote to you last week. So great job, Chris, and I'd say this is very nearly there. High contrast, low key, or simple, or simply darker shots are far harder to do than many think, and the key is the ability to lead the viewer to where you want them. In this shot, we have a couple of problem areas, namely the very bright and distracting highlight on the hair, so here, right in the middle, and the very heavy dark pocket in the bottom right, so down here. Light placement and modifier choice will fix the hair highlight, and the heavy shadow pocket simply needs to have a touch of flat light or base coat light that opens up those mysterious shadows just a tiny amount. This will balance the shot and feel more finished overall. Take a look at the old black and white films, e.g. Citizen Kane, to see how they dealt with this low-key lighting masterfully. So the point that I was kind of bringing up last week, Chris, when you kind of shared this, was we can do low-key shots like this, but we kind of need to be very careful of where the eye is going, right? So normally our eye is drawn to the brightest part of the image first. So here it'll be this highlight. Secondly, eyes don't, like when we're viewing an image, we don't tend to like mysterious dark pockets where we can't see what's in there. So a little bit of fill light in here would just open that up. One way to kind of soften this is we can either change the modifier, so we need to soften that light even further, or we can bring it further away again so that it's don't have such a hot spot. This is the issue when we have flashes with a centralized point of light, right? So it's this is kind of the exposure we want down here, and then it's so bright here. So if we move this light further away, now the light is going to be more even, so we can kind of spread that highlight out by bringing it further away. Okay, so hopefully that kind of wraps up what I was kind of getting across last week with this one. Yeah. Hey, no worries, Chris. It's all good. Like it's good. Yeah. I get it. Like Facebook doesn't tell anybody anymore, so I commented on that, and if it doesn't notify you, then I get it. You're not gonna always remember to go back. You're kind of relying on Facebook to kind of notify you when somebody's commented on your image. So I get it. Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Jake's not sponsored by Adobe. After he's never will be. Savvy. Look, if you guys need a tutorial on how to make dandelions, I think I know where they're coming, right? Like, you guys are underestimating what they're looking for. It is honestly tricky to get the AI to generate the way you want. Yeah, no shit, still. A couple of times generated a snake in a different document and then pasted it in, and that would select what I wanted to paste. Okay, clever. Yeah. Then try again to generate the AI. Photoshop AI generation examines context. Snakes aren't usually crawling across the body. This is true. Okay, so Sterling's saying what he did is he brought in straight snakes from a different image and then roughly placed it on his image, and then got the Photoshop AI to look at that for context. Clever. That's good thinking, Sterling. Yeah, I mean, these are all tips I'll use on my next stream. I forgot everything today. I forgot it's Tuesday. Missed the stream. Missed a lottery. No worries, Steve. Yeah, no worries, Chris. Yeah, for sure. you guys are savage, man. Oh god. After everything I've done for you guys. And he's got a shot here, the nightmare of lines. Lol, I desaturated the colour of the lines on the wall behind. This helps tremendously to put the focus back onto my subject. My model did a wonderful job to show great presence. I can say it's hard to make a model stand out, being with such an enormous prop, literally. First time working with a plane. In the future, we will be shooting with a helicopter. Difficult. I like what you've done with the grade, though, Annie. I do like what you've done with the grade here. And you're right. It's super difficult, right? What do you do with this? I do like the fact that you've got the kind of all the tones brought together, right? Even we've got these blues and stuff here, nice with the tattoos. We've got like the color of the wall and the background matches the plane and stuff, and even like the hair. I think you've done a really good job here, Annie. Yeah, really good job. Difficult to do. Cleaned up all the straight lines and stuff. Yeah, done a great job. I'm just going to be sticking to lighting in future, not using AI. Totally forgot what I was going to do. I was just going to look at. I should have a little play. See if there's anything that we can do here, just to kind of double down on what we may already have here. I think we can't do too much without losing the. That's not bad. Let's have a look. Got some blues in there. It's getting a bit more vintagey. It depends how vintagey you want to take it, right? But again, this channel mixer, if you guys don't use it, you only use it right at the end of an image, and it just helps just to tighten up all the colors that you may have. Yeah. So it just tightens up the colors that are already in the shot. Yeah. Don't need to go crazy, but I actually really liked what you did already. And like all I've just done there is I've just tightened them up slightly, just the skin tone, and just bringing out some of these pinks and stuff in the skin. But you were already bang on there, Annie. I think you did a really good job with that. Really good job. And I'm sure there was a ton of work going on down here and the straight lines and that sort of stuff. So I think you've done excellent work. Yeah, really, really good. Yeah. But again, yeah. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about how much green is in that background, and if we could just take some of it out if we wanted to. Got to be careful on the skin. If you do this right, so you go, okay, cool, I like that background, but now the skin's gone a bit squiffy. You come into the red layer, just grab that hand tool, and you just come in here and just take out, just click and drag down. It just takes out some of that green in there. So here I'm kind of looking at that background. So if we just wanted to do it manually, so we could just click here and just add a little bit of a cooler tone in the background. Right, we've got this nice blue here. You just drag that up. Now, we also want to just keep these a little bit cleaner. And then if we click here, now the opposite of blue is yellow, right? So if we just click here and just drag that down a little bit, that's just going to help. Up to you. I kind of like somewhere between them. I like the kind of the yellowy army green you've got here, but at the same time I do kind of like this kind of cooler tone. But yeah, excellent work though. Yeah, really good stuff. Good luck with the helicopter. Yeah. You can replace the whole thing. I mean, Gemfield will replace everything. Yeah. So somebody's gonna have to say something to Sam at some point. But I guess you'll run out of these eventually. I don't know about much better, Annie. Thank you. You are very, very kind. I think yours was excellent to begin with. Yeah. So Nick's got a shot here. It's kind of cool, actually. And again, I'm sure, thinking about Halloween and that sort of stuff, but super, spooky with that little bit of red. I'm not often a fan. What do they call this? Spot coloring. Yeah, I'm not often a fan of this, but this is actually pretty cool. You've done a really good job with the hard light here as well. I think hard light, again, like we've just spoken about before, can be a little bit tricky to work with. So having this very, very heavy, strong hard light directly from above, kind of nice. I'm being nitpicky here, but just like to, if I'm doing something symmetrical like this, just trying to have that light directly above. And it may well have been, she may have well just moved, like if the light is close, she may well have moved like a couple of inches. But yeah, if you're using hard lights like this, so like a hard light is defined by the size of the light source in relation to the subject. Yeah, so if you have this like a spot with like a dish, right, you bring it further away, it becomes a very, very hard light. What can happen is you get these kind of double shadows. You guys might not be able to notice it, but it's something that I'm aware of. We get these double shadows. One thing that can help with that is something called diffusion gels. So, and I just put them over all of my bare reflectors if that's what I'm using. I think somewhere in here I've got an example of what it does. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay. So diffusion gel is basically just fireproof tracing paper essentially. But what's going on here? You see, when you use just a regular hard light, you can get these kind of double shadows. So if you just put this diffusion gel over those hard lights, you still have a hard light because you haven't enlarged the light source in any way, but it just helps to soften up any shadow transitions. It will just give your hard lights just a far crisper look. It's subtle, but it's worth playing with. If any of you who've already bought my utility gel packs, this is not a promo, but I know a lot of you already have my gel packs. Those of you that have already bought my gel packs, they're in the utility pack already. Okay, so they're already, yeah. So it's these ones, strong diffusion. So that's what I use. Yeah. So if you've already got my gel packs, then you already got them. Yeah, it's worth looking at because it can help with those hard lights just to soften up, just to clean up some of these heavy shadows. Yeah. As I was taught, the opposite of blue is red. You're not wrong, Sam. Yeah, it's when we're dealing with RGB, it's different. Yeah. So the opposite of red is cyan in RGB, and the opposite of magenta is green. Yeah. It's true, Kat. It's true. Yeah, it's true. Right then, let's have a look. Oh, Brett's got something saucy in there, a little bit spicy. Oh yeah, you worked with Jordan. That's right. Yeah, nice, man. Nice. Okay, like the edit here in the end here with these creamy colors. That's good. Oh, Brett, I meant to tell you that I've just remembered they're in my pocket. She gave them to me in. There's people watching, it don't make any sense. So Brett traveled is from the US. He traveled over, around Europe, and he worked with this model in London a few weeks back, and he was carrying a bag of flaming hot Cheetos, which is illegal in this country. Brett was really risking life and limb to bring me these flaming hot Cheetos, and he gave them to Jordan. And I worked with Jordan at an event, at the Rotalight event the other week, and she did give me the packet of flaming hot Cheetos, and seeing this has just reminded me that they're in my coat pocket. I need to dig them out and just snort a few lines of flaming hot Cheeto dust. But yes, so back to your image. This is a cool shot. I probably would have buzzed out the cat feeders here, but otherwise, I mean, to be fair, you could get generative fill to buzz those out, no problem. But I like the color grade that you've gone for here, Brett. I think this is cool. You've done well. You've pointed her towards the light. It's nice. We got nice clean lines in here. Nice vertical lines. These are vertical, right, Brett? Right? You wouldn't lie to me, Brett, would you? Oof. It'll do. I'll allow it. But yeah, I really like the color grade you've gone for. Subtle, but not over the top. I think it works really well. Yeah. It's a film shot, even better, man. Even better. Nice. This is on 35mm. Interesting. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah, love it. Thanks for sharing that one. I was wondering when you were going to share the images of Jordan. Yeah. Right. Did I miss anybody? Just give it a quick refresh. It is getting dinner o'clock, guys. Oh, Edgar. How you doing, Edgar? Pictures was taken with a Sony A7R4 with an 85mm lens. I'd like to hear your feedback. Interesting. Okay. Edgar, are you in YouTube chat here? So what Edgar's got going on here, we've got so it looks like we got a background. I think this is let's work out whether this was an actual sort of mottled, hand painted backdrop, or whether we got like a projected image or something back there. But You are here. You are perfect. Again, no worries. Again, see, I'm such a visual person, so I was looking at the profile picture, and then of course you are in chat. Of course you've been here since the start. Sorry, buddy. So is this a painted backdrop or a projected something, or yeah, either or? I do like it. I like the fact we've got this light texture. You've added this light texture to the background, which I think is kind of cool. So this is something that I kind of struggled with early on, but this is something that I've done my utmost to kind of rectify in recent years, and that's just to deal with these very heavy shadows, right? And I think it was painted backdrop, beautiful. Okay, love it. Yeah, it's gorgeous backdrop. I like that a lot. And I love the light texture that you've added to it. Are you shooting light through something like a gobo, or like to scatter the light like this, or is it just the fact that it's very heavy, light and dark, that gives it the impression that it's lit like that? Yeah, so back to my point here about trying to fill in some of these heavy shadows. So I can't, I'm not sure where these lights are coming from, but it looks like we've got, looks like we've definitely got a light, over here, right? Looks like we've definitely got a light kind of over here somewhere. We can see this highlight coming down there like that. And then I'm trying to think of the light on her face. We can see the nose shadow here is almost no nose shadow at all. So it's kind of looking like there's a light kind of like here coming down pretty steeply. So you've already got a couple of lights on play here as well. So the one thing that I'm kind of thinking about is I want to open up these shadows just a little bit, right? I appreciate the fact that you like contrast. That's not a problem, but just opening up these shadows just a tiny bit. So when we're using hard lights like this, say we got our subject here, you got your backdrop, and you are here with your camera, and we've already established you've probably got one light pretty high here, right? And then we also think we've got another light coming in on this side as well, which is this one here. So, fairly hard light. So what I would try and do with this is, if you've got another light, try and get yourself a big softbox, or a big umbrella is even better, right? A big umbrella is definitely better. And you just want to have it here, all right? Nice big, like big as you can manage, and just turn it real low, so it's just giving just a kiss of light. Okay, now what that's going to do is it's just going to fill in like all these shadows here with just a tiny bit of detail. It's not going to take away from the contrast, but it's going to help to open up some of these very heavy shadows. I'm speaking to, what was it, Chris a minute ago, speaking about his image, about those heavy pockets of shadow, and just opening them up and bringing in like a massive softbox like this will, especially if you turn the power way down, will just help to just open up those shadows. Okay, and again, it's something that you're going to want to think about turning up, but you just want, you may not even need a softbox, maybe just a huge white reflector here. It's just maybe enough just to add a little bit of data into those shadows. Look, Brett takes his international smuggling very seriously, Steve. Appreciate you not teasing him on it. Hey, no worries, Brett. Painted backdrop. Got to go. Hey, no worries, Anna. Yeah, take care. 3 lights. Okay. Hey, Jake, what are you using to draw on the images? This is screen brush. Yeah, I just downloaded it on the Mac store. Yeah. Can't figure out whether... So I'm thinking like the third light is potentially we have a tiny bit of fill light under the boob here. So I'm thinking there might have been like a tiny bit of light here. So I'm thinking that might have been like a tiny bit of fill light. So that may be where that's coming from. So maybe there is some data there that and maybe you've just darkened it down, but just something to something to think about. I do like this image though, and I love that background. Yeah, really cool. I think it's interesting playing with hard lights, especially with hard directional light like this. I think there's a lot that you can do. Yeah. Oh, we got Sam. Nice. Captured at Jason Lanier Rhodolite Workshop. If the blue light is distracting, blame Jason. He put it there. I'm not going to comment on another instructor's lighting, but you've done well to have these beautiful straight lines, which is a serious bugbear of mine. So you've done well to have these straight lines vertically up and down. Really nice. And, you know, in fairness, we got a lot of data here in some of these. It would have been very easy for this to have been lost here, but we still got some data in the shadows here. Yeah. Let's have a look. I think there's scope to play with some colors in this. You know, we can really push those two colors if we wanted. I think there's something to be done there. The skin tone was a little squiffy beforehand, so we're just gonna just playing around with it a little bit. Let's have a look. I would need to take some time. I think there's multiple lights hitting her face there, which is what's making her skin tone a bit difficult to work with. Yeah. But I think you could definitely play around with the like the grade on this and push it even further. Yeah. I kind of want to get rid of that green in the background a little bit. Warm it up rather than cooling it down. There we go, we're getting somewhere now. That's looking good. So there's multiple lights on that face, which is making it a little bit tricky, but that's feeling a lot better. Now we can come in here and we can kind of target some of these colors as well if you wanted. So we got the reds here. We can kind of just tweak those a little bit. But let's have a look at these yellows here, right? So we can see just target those. Right, we got these cyans here, right? Darken those down. Let's have a look. The blues are going to be the same. Okay. Yeah. Definitely something there now. You guys got to remember that I would never color grade with a massive bright light in my face. Yeah, it's just I'm like squinting at it. Yeah. So if you want to go vintage, then you just knock that blue one in there. There you go. Definitely tons of scope to play around with the grade on that one. But yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, there's tons you can do with that. There's tons of colours in there you can work with. Loads you can work with. Yeah. Cool shot though. Cool shot. Looks like he put on a good event there. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. AJ, you mentioned putting a diffuser on the hard light source to help reduce the shadows. Would this work for both gel shots and I presume gel shots, non-gel shots, or is it a bad idea to use it with gels? No, 100%, Brett. Yeah, absolutely. I use it on my gels. Yeah. I mean, you know how much I use white light, which is not very often. So yeah, when I was saying it, I was referring to using it with gels. Yeah, what you're after is just to clean up those double shadows that can happen. Because what happens is you've got your flash coming from a point, right, and then you've got your dish. What happens is the flash is coming straight out to the subject, right, but that flash is also hitting the dish and coming straight out as well. So that's why you get those double shadows, is because it's messy. It is a very messy light. Using those dishes is not a good look, because you have these double shadows, because it's bouncing off the reflector and then hitting the subject, which is why you get that double effect. And that diffusion gel will kind of reduce that. Yeah. I guess it's lower power on camera left, just weak enough not to... Exactly, Sam, exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, no worries, again. Yeah, no worries. I should have cropped out the light stand on the right. Sam, if you want me to use generative fill on that, just to buzz that out, you just leave it with me. I can do that, no trouble. Yeah. Right then, is it dinner time yet? Or what? What are we doing? Are we done? Did somebody say they could put a Medusa shot in here? Another Medusa shot? Here we go. Oh, nice, Dylan. Yeah, show another version. Nice, okay. Yeah. I do like that projected snakeskin idea. That's a brilliant idea, man. I love that. Yeah. And look, you can't argue those snakes, apart from the one out of the mouth, but I mean, those snakes, if it wasn't for that one in the mouth, these snakes would 100% look legit. Yeah, it's nuts. It's crazy. Yeah. Imagine a couple of dandelions in here as well. You know, if you need them, you just let me know, because I could probably do that. Right then, guys. I'm going to quit whilst I'm almost ahead. But just double check everybody's work. Good stuff. Look, thanks guys because like I said, like the share a shoot post got absolutely crushed by Mr. Meta. So I appreciate you guys jumping back in there and posting some images. It's been good. Go through a bunch of those. Congrats to us. We made it through a YouTube live stream without too many screw ups. Obviously, you know, Vlad has some feedback. He wants more than 720p's of something. And he also wants to be able to post his lighting preset links. So I need to look at that. I need to look at the export size, see if that works. And I need to look at allowing people to post links, which I thought I should have been able to anyway. But yeah. Right now, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining me over here. Appreciate this is a different spot to where we normally do it, but I think it was pretty good. I saw some of the numbers as I was there. We got 15. I think we had 20 people at one point. So, I think, Facebook was usually around 30. So we're not too far off, right? Do a few more here, and we'll test it out, see how we're doing. But we can get those. I am posting some links to my some of my training, online training with online workshops and that sort of thing. I've got one tomorrow with Olivia. I don't think she's in chat. She's based over there in the US. So we'll do some online workshops with her tomorrow. We've got a couple with her this week. Also the mentoring as well, if you wanted something more targeted in terms of business or retouching and that sort of thing. But yeah, check those out if you wouldn't mind. Might be something in there, generative fill workshop coming soon. But yeah, cinematic lighting one is still my most popular, just because it's probably the newest and has some of the newest techniques. Gel lighting one is always a bit of a classic. Got the long exposure, sort of pastel gels, working with those, working in small spaces, again, very popular one. And then my art of projection one, which is super creative. But guys, that brings us to the end. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Sam, I'm not even going to read that one. I'm gonna read. I've read it, but I'm gonna unread it. Okay. The snake photo is epic. Yeah. When is the next live? Okay, the next live will be in 2 weeks, hopefully. Yeah. So we do them every fortnight. Every Tuesday I do. Yeah. So I usually do a Technique Tuesday, and then the other Tuesday I'll do a live stream. YouTube live feels better. Nice. Only thing I missed is react to the comments. That's true, Kat. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's interesting point there. No worries, Sam. Yeah, and for the dandelion. I finally knew what happened to the Cheetos. Cheese with a grip it. No worries. Excellent, guys. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here. I think it went pretty damn well, and let's do it again in a couple of weeks. Stay safe until then. Take care, guys.